Get ready for an offensive gusher on the high plains of West Texas. The 18th ranked, undefeated Oklahoma State Cowboys feature one of the nation's most prolific passing offenses, led by quarterback Brandon Weeden and wide receiver Justin Blackmon. The Cowboys have averaged over 50 points per game. They can score from anywhere on the field. Today, they look for their first win in Lubbock in decades against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Quarterback Taylor Potts is coming off a career-high 462-yard passing day in last week's win against Baylor. Can the Cowboys win in Lubbock for the first time since 1944? Or will the Red Raiders spoil the Cowboys' hopes at a perfect season? College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, is next. Welcome to Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This afternoon from Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock, Texas, 18th ranked Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, face off against the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Former Super Bowl champion Gary Reasons alongside. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us for College Football Saturday. If you like offense, you like to see that high-octane offense, you've got two of the best teams that will display it here this afternoon.
No doubt about that, Dan. It's kind of like two brothers playing together. These offenses, they know each other so well. They're very similar. Which one's going to get the best today? We'll see.
And, Gary, Mike Gundy for Oklahoma State, they thought that, well, this could be a rebuilding year. A lot of turnover with their roster, new-look offense, and yet they have three guys that have been just standouts this year in the Big 12.
Yeah, it all starts with the quarterback play, and Brandon Weeden, a junior quarterback, former baseball player that's been talked about a lot, but he's really grown into this offensive system that Dana Holgorsen has brought to this football team. And I think he is just growing every single week. Tremendous performances so far, but he's got a big go-to guy who has emerged on the scene in Justin Blackmon, leading the nation in receptions and also in touchdown catches. This young man has done a great job as a receiver for the Cowboys. But then you put in Kendall Hunter. I tell you, a guy who's very explosive as a running back, put the ball in his hands in many different ways with the Cowboys offense. And you've got now another set of triplets for the Cowboys, and they're very prolific offensively.
Now on the other side, no more Mike Leach here at Texas Tech, but his offense does stay put. Tommy Tuberville is here, and all of a sudden, he's putting up points.
Yeah, they're still going to throw the ball, and I talked with Coach Tuberville about his receiving core, and he shared with me his thoughts about that group.
The thing about these receivers is they do know how to get open. They catch the ball consistently. Now, we have had some drops, but as many as we throw, you're going to drop a few. And most of them understand the passing game. You can bring in a receiver all you want, but you have to understand what you're doing, and they do a good job of it.
Well, you take a look at Taylor Potts, who's the quarterback for the Red Raiders, and his senior campaign, he's had a great season. Last week, a record-setting day for him in the Cotton Bowl against Baylor, and that was a pretty good performance. And Lau Leong is a big go-to receiver for him. He's got great body control and also leaping ability. He's a big play receiver for him. So I expect a big football game in this game, both offensively for both football teams. And I think Texas Tech is definitely going to be able to put up some huge numbers today.
We're edging closer to our opening kickoff from Jones AT&T Stadium. Temperatures in the 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Perfect day for football. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech coming up.
Welcome back to Jones AT&T Stadium here in Lubbock, Texas, where Oklahoma State and Texas Tech are set to do battle. Boy, those cowbells are out here in Lubbock, Texas here today. All right, well, before the break, we talked about two very explosive offenses. Now, in terms of defense, the numbers aren't quite as good for these programs. When you look at Oklahoma State, they rank 118th against the pass, 89th in terms of total defense. Texas Tech, yeah, they're not much better, 88th overall, but the real trend that has hurt the Red Raiders is that they have forced no turnovers in the last 9.5 quarters of play. So keeping that in mind, turnovers and special teams, that was a huge focus for the coaches this week when they talked to us on the phone. And you got to think that Oklahoma State might have the edge when it comes to special teams because they have kicker Dan Bailey. Bailey, in pregame warmups, was knocking them down from 61 yards out. He is your reigning Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week. He's also perfect so far this year. As for Texas Tech, well, their special teams unit's going to be looking to clean up the mess from last week's contest against Baylor. Terrence Ganaway returning this onside kick, kind of unusual for a Baylor touchdown. So special teams, a huge focus this week in Lubbock, Texas. So having said all that about the defense and the special teams, Yeah, the offense is going to take center stage today because they can run, they can gun, they like to throw and run the ball here in Lubbock, Texas. So keep it tuned right here. It is a shootout set here in the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. Kickoff is coming up next on Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
A sea of red at Jones AT&T Stadium, home to Texas Tech, and they'll take on number 18 Oklahoma State, try to give them their first loss of the season. Texas Tech won the coin toss. They have elected to receive.
Yeah, they want to get the ball. They want to score first. It's going to be a shootout.
Why not? And they've got two good return men back. Texas Tech with Austin Zuzulak, the sophomore out of Lubbock, Texas, and Eric Stevens, a sophomore out of Mansfield, Texas. In his career, 52 returns for over 1,300 yards. That's best all time in school history. Quinn Sharp, also out of Mansfield, Texas, will kick it away, and you'll find that most of these kids are from the state of Texas.
Yeah, a lot of Texas players in this ballgame, no doubt about that. Oklahoma State recruits Texas hard, and obviously Texas Tech firmly in their backyard.
It's a low kick, little squibber, fielded at the 8. This is Stevens with a block across the 30, and Texas Tech will have it 1st and 10 on the 32. And let's meet the offense of Texas Tech. And the quarterback is Taylor Potts, who we highlighted in the open, the senior out of Abilene, Texas. 44 career touchdown passes. That is 5th all time.
Yeah, and he's done a pretty good job, I think, leading this offense, and he's gotten better each week. Last week was on the top of his game, definitely against Baylor in the Cotton Bowl. I actually went and saw part of that ball game, and I was very impressed with him and the tempo that Tech displayed in that football game.
462 yards last weekend for Potts at the Cotton Bowl. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver was Tremaine Swindoll. Starting lineups are brought to you by Phillips Television. So amazing you won't be able to take your eyes off it. Who stands out up front?
Well, that left tackle, Waddell, he's a pretty talented tackle, and he keeps the quarterback clean. They've done a pretty good job so far this season.
Gary, they don't waste any time. Hurry up and get these in.
That's what it's going to be. They're going to go through these, but the receiving core pretty balanced. Your Batch out of the backfield is a big guy that they want to get him a lot of touches today, as well as Stevens out of the backfield.
3rd and 8 for Potts in the offense. Their first possession of the afternoon. Potts with plenty of time. Steps up and brought down. The sack for Oklahoma State. The big man, Chris Donaldson, the 300-pounder, the senior, and he picks up his first sack of the season.
The coaches talked to us about Donaldson and said he's got a quick first 2 steps. And look at him here, come inside, takes the inside move, just kind of pushes the guard down onto the center, and then just jumps up the hill on Potts. And Potts, who's learning to step up in the pocket, kind of hurt him there on that try.
Texas Tech has to kick it away, and Oklahoma State will wind up with great field position on their first possession of the afternoon. That'll keep rolling on the turf and down at the 36-yard line. So here comes Oklahoma State, and now a spread offense for Brandon Weeden, the junior out of Edmond, Oklahoma.
And his numbers are pretty impressive there. He leads the NCAA in touchdown throws, and obviously on the outside, you've got a great receiver in Justin Blackmon, who's come on for that. But I think Weeden, who turned 27 this week, we talked about that. A very seasoned guy, played baseball, has got a very strong arm and very smooth delivery of the football.
Just turned 27, as Gary mentioned. And he started a professional baseball career in the Yankees organization, and now playing college football. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, trying to hook up with Tracy Moore, sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And let's take a look at the Phillips starting lineups.
Well, you got 4 new starters up here, and Garner's a center, and he's probably the most seasoned. But overall, this group has grown each week, and they've been pleased with that performance. Now, you're going to have a little bit of a mixed bag here as far as the receiving corps. There's some injuries with the Cowboys offensively on their receiving corps, so we'll talk more about that as the game goes along.
Underneath, the connection made across the 40 to Justin Blackmon, sophomore out of Oklahoma, the leading man in receptions per game, scoring, touchdown catches, and receiving yards, not just on his team, but folks in the country.
Yeah, just a little drag right here in front of the linebackers, kind of a zone coverage. right early in this ball game for Texas Tech. They're trying to get comfortable in this football game and trying to see how Oklahoma State's going to deploy their weapons out there with their receiving core.
Crowd on their feet, nearly 60,000. And that looks to be short of the first down. It's Kendall Hunter, the senior, who has just had an outstanding career. He's closing in on 2,000 yards in his career. Kendall Hunter, the senior for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, pretty good job up front defensively for Texas Tech. Langley and Colby Whitlock, who is really hard to run on, number 93 for Texas Tech, did a nice job there to stop the middle.
There's Quinn Sharp out of Mansfield, Texas, to kick it away. The punter for the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. So we're expecting offense, and we get
2 3-and-outs.
Yep, just like that. Beautiful kick. And it will take a Texas Tech bounce into the end zone. They'll have it 1st and 10 on the 20. College football Saturday. Big 12 action. Oklahoma State undefeated, and Texas Tech the flyover just moments ago. Tech will have it when we come back. Big 12 College Football Saturday is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, low price every day. And brought to you in part by Philips Televisions. So amazing you won't be able to take your eyes off it. And by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Both offenses 3 and out. And now Texas Tech will have it 1st and 10 on the 20. How about a key for this Texas Tech offense? What do they need to do?
Well, they really need to be more physical up front. That's one of the things Tuberville will talk to me about. He says he wants his offensive line to play more physical. They like the tempo they had last week, be more fast in their operation. They really want to run the football. That's been a big emphasis here for this football team early in this season.
Potts with the empty backfield underneath and incomplete. And both teams have struggled here, as Zuzalik was the intended receiver, the sophomore from right here in Lubbock.
Zuzalik there coming across the middle and wide open. Needs to put that ball on him so he can make a nice easy catch.
Now Taylor Potts at one point last week in that 45-38 win, he had completed 15 straight in the first half. He went 42 of 59 attempts against Baylor. Underneath to Lewis, the senior. A short game for Texas Tech.
Dan, one of the good things that I think about Taylor Potts this season, I'm probably going to jinx him when I say this, but he's only got 4 interceptions on the season. It's pretty good numbers for as many times that they throw the ball per ball game. And so I think he understands that he needs to control what he does and don't make mistakes with that football.
Gary, amazingly, they put up 635 total yards against Baylor at the Cotton Bowl last weekend. Potts to throw again. Steps up, plenty of time. Ooh, triple coverage. And the intended receiver was Alexander Torres. And right now, Potts just doesn't seem to be real comfortable.
Well, you remember that little jinx I just said, but it almost came true. Thomas had his hands on the ball, no doubt about that. That's one that should have been intercepted by the Cowboys.
Jonathan LaCour, the senior, who averages 41 yards a punt for his career, will kick it away. And he's standing inside his own 10. And again, Oklahoma State should come away with pretty good field position.
Yeah, if they get a line drive kick here, I'd expect a pretty good return from him.
It's Justin Gilbert, the freshman, averages 25 yards on punt returns, calls for the fair catch, and he makes it just shy of the 40-yard line. So it is a new look on the sideline of Texas Tech with Tommy Tuberville. Of course, football fans know him from his days at Mississippi and Auburn, and now here at Texas Tech.
Yeah, and he's a very disciplined coach, a coach that's very defensive-minded, very oriented to what the Southeastern Conference did with their structure of play. And he says it's been very different for him to come here. Very interesting, the conference on how they throw the ball around and how to defend it, and also how to put points on the board yourself.
Now, speaking of points on the board, Oklahoma State averaging nearly 53 points per game. That's second most behind Oregon in all of college football. They'll put it on the ground here with a little hole and a good tackle. That's Joseph Randle, who is seldom used, averaging 5 yards a carry. Normally it's either Hunter or Smith. And Cooper is also in there. Let's meet the Texas Tech defense presented by Phillips.
Yeah, now obviously up front there, Colby Whitlock, number 93. He's the hoss inside. And a linebacker play, Bront Bird done a great job so far playing so in the middle right now as a Mike linebacker. And these cornerbacks on both sides are pretty talented here for Tech.
They keep it on the ground again. And sidestepping there near the sideline was Kendall Hunter as he's knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, and he's a nifty runner. He's a guy that's got very good body control, and they walk that sideline very, very well. He's able to keep his feet going and stay north and south on the sideline. And it's just an excellent job of him knowing where he's at and able to stay in bounds. And they'll get Kendall Hunter the ball a lot of different ways. They'll throw it to him out of the backfield, and when he gets good blocking in front, you get him out in space. That's when he's the most dangerous.
Oklahoma State wasting no time. They'll go with Joseph Randle. And you've got two guys that are pretty big in that backfield. Randle goes at just over 200 pounds along with Hunter. And then they have another speedster in Josh Cooper. You'll occasionally see him. He goes at about 185 pounds, but they feel with those two big guys, they can pound the football if need be.
Yeah, and they like Randle a lot. They say he's getting better every single week, and they feel like he could be a playmaker for them.
Here's Hunter down at the 15. And Oklahoma State, since last season, you know, they went with that ideal offensive fullback tight end, and now Gary trying to really spread it, but still they'll keep it on the ground with Hunter. Well, why not?
Yeah, look at the blocking there. Good job running up front. You see Nick Martinez, the big junior left tackle, almost getting a pancake there, running his man 5 yards down the field, and Hunter just running right beside him. Good job up front. 1st and 10 with the ball on the 15. Big hole right up the middle, sidestepping a tackler, and a touchdown. Oklahoma State, 15-yard scamper by Kendall Hunter, the senior. His 10th touchdown here in 2010. Nice job of weaving by Hunter, just finding the blocks and running behind them. And you know, if you're kind of running down a little seam or an alley here, you just find the way to get to the end zone. That's what Hunter does. He just steps behind his blocks, sees them in front of him, makes one guy miss in a hole. There's one block. Here's another one. He comes across. Excellent job by Hunter in vision, and a good hole that time by the Cowboy offensive line. Kendall Hunter, 7th all-time in rushing in school history out of Tyler, Texas. The extra point is good, and on the road, Oklahoma State striking first. Kendall Hunter, the 5'8" senior. A couple of nifty moves to find the hole. Then he found the end zone. Cowboys on top, 7-0. There's a look at Mike Gundy, the former quarterback at Oklahoma State. 4-year starter, and now he runs the show. And he's been around a long time with that program. Yeah, been in that program a long time. A lot of different roles there. Offensive coordinator, now formerly as a head coach. You know, took the offensive coordinator role away from himself when he hired Dana Holgerson, allowing him to call the plays. It's been different for Mike this year, and spent a lot more time with special teams and other parts of the team, but kind of just trying to take himself out of that offensive role. But too much work on him last year with the workload being a coordinator. Quinn Sharp, the deep and another touchback. That's his 32nd touchback in 47 kickoffs this year. Pretty good job in special teams. We'll step aside. College football Saturday. There's a look at Bill Young, the coordinator on the defensive side of the football for Oklahoma State. He says it's not who's right, it's what's right. A Geico quote for today. Yeah, he just talking about his coaching staff. He says, you know, there's no egos in that room when they start talking about their scheme and their personnel and trying to drive things a particular way. They want to do what's best for the football team and the athletes on the field. Absolutely. So let's see if Taylor Potts in this offense can get going. The Texas Tech offense, 635 total yards against Baylor last weekend, and nothing so far today. Finally, they'll swing it out to the right side. The catch is made in a short gain, and that is Jacoby Franks, the junior out of Orange, Texas. So once again with that Geico quote of the day. Yeah, he's just talking about his coaching staff. You know, who's right. It's not really about who's right in the room, and they just want to do everything that they can to try to emphasize putting talent in the right position, give them a chance to succeed. And you know, they want to do better against the run. They know they're going to slow down Texas Tech that way, because if they can make them one-dimensional, it really helps them be able to set up outside when they've got to cover these receivers. Here's a look at Batch with the carry. He's 39 yards away from 2,000 in his career. And you just saw Ori Lemon, who's one of the best defensive players in the country. Well, he's one of the best guys, definitely in the Big 12 as far as linebacker play this year. He's done a good job leading that defense, and Bill Young speaks highly of him. 3rd down again for Potts. Tries to dump it into the flat. He can't. Try to get it to Batch, and now this crowd a little bit restless here in Lubbock. Another 3 and out for Texas Tech. Good job by Chris Donaldson, who's actually moved out from his defensive tackle position to the defensive end spot. Watch the ball to your right here. Get a good hand up there. That's number 95, Donaldson. Makes a nice play there on the football. The core again to punt it away. So 3 straight 3 and outs, and they're not accustomed to seeing that here with Texas Tech. No, they're used to moving the ball. First down. It's a machine, and then not clicking today. Ooh, they almost got it. Gilbert is back to receive. Angle it to the sideline. It will be marked near the 40-yard line, and will keep
keep it right here, and Oklahoma State will have it, leading 7-0. And you have to watch out now for Kendall Hunter, who has 4 carries and already 47 yards here in the first quarter of play.
Yeah, and they picked up their play on 1st and 2nd down. That was one of the points that Mike Gundy talked about. He says they want to do better there, but more importantly, when they get to 3rd down situations, they need to be more efficient, and they want to be able to run the ball a lot better, because it's going to help Brandon Weeden down the road. You need to throw the football to be able to exploit teams when you need to run it.
You know, a lot of people talk about Barry Sanders and think that automatically he was the leading rusher ever at Oklahoma State, and that's not the case. Over the middle they go, and the catch is made inside the 35-yard line, and once again hitting a big target. That's Tracy Moore.
Good job by Moore. Makes himself available to Brandon Weeden, and Weeden just kind of waits here. Good play action pass. Good job of setting the linebackers, and he gets right behind him.
Thurman Thomas, by the way, the all-time leading rusher at Oklahoma State. Will stay on the ground. And wrestling Randle out of bounds with the tackle was Brent Bird, the senior out of Odessa, Texas. Here's a look at Bird, their leading tackler. Does have a sack on the year, and that was his 39th stop on the season. Weeden with play action, wants to throw to the flat, incomplete.
There's been
for Jeremy Smith.
There's been some changes, obviously, with Dana Holgorsen coming in a new system, and Mike Gundy not being the offensive coordinator. I think the changes are pretty apparent. If you look at 2009 compared to 2010, we'll talk about those, and we'll show you what those numbers are. As Dana Holgorsen has kind of done some different things and has taken some different things away from the offense.
3rd and 6 as this crowd comes alive. Weeden, plenty of time. Towards the middle and caught at the 5. They'll have it 1st and goal. Justin Blackmon strikes again.
Just a great route down the field, and it turns inside. There's no safety help there, so Justin Blackmon is just available for the quarterback, Weeden, who makes a nice strike there. Justin's on the outside running down the seam. You'll see him, and he just turns in. No safety there, so good, easy throw and catch for Brandon Weeden to Justin Blackmon.
Diving in for the touchdown, a 5-yard run. Joseph Randle, the freshman.
Yeah, nice little march down the field here, throwing the football, and now with the run game inside the red area, you have a chance to punch it in, and Randle, who's been in the ball game, getting some good carries here for the Cowboys early on. We've already seen Kendall Hunter, who's got over 40 yards rushing today, and now Randle pops in for a score.
The extra point is good by Dan Bailey, the senior, who now is perfect on extra points and field goals all season long. And just like that, Oklahoma State 14-0 on the road.
Yeah, I talked about those changes and kind of how that's affected Oklahoma State offensively. In 2009, this is how they run. They had 64% rushing and only 36% passing. That's changed now, obviously, with Dana Holgorsen, a new style of offense. They're going to throw the ball quite a bit more, 54% of the time currently, in 46. These are all just through the first 5 games of this year compared to what they did through the first 5 games of last season. So obviously a different influence with Dana Holgorsen, who's got the big ties here to Texas Tech, spent a long time here with Mike Leach and knows that air raid offense very, very well. And he's done a great job of improving on it with his days at the University of Houston. And you take a look at what's going on, and they're improving on that today.
Phillips Television scoring drive. 5 plays, didn't take long, just 1:06, 62 yards, and Randle gets it on 1st and goal. You're talking about Dana Holgorsen, and he led the Cougars to the #1 national ranking in passing offense, total offense, and scoring offense in 2009. Remember, Houston beat Oklahoma State last year, so they said, well, wait a minute, maybe we should get him.
We got to figure out who this guy is.
Let's get him with us. And they switched their offense completely. They got away from the tight end, the fullback. They've spread the offense, and a lot of times you would think that would take a while to get the players and the kids to adjust, but it really hasn't.
Well, it's kind of a system that allows you to kind of take care of some deficiencies. It's easier, I think, to get more skilled players, receivers, quarterbacks, guys that can make plays with the football than it really is the big guys. The big guys who are very athletic are at a premium both on the offensive line and the defensive line. So that's really the reason that most teams are going to the spread offensive style of play, and it helps their offense be productive.
Here's Taylor Potts again. Plenty of time. Underneath, the catch made by Swindle. Gary, what are you seeing right now? Why is Texas Tech struggling?
I think that right now that Oklahoma State's doing a pretty good job of keeping things in front of them and not allowing big plays. That's one of the things Bill Young said. We don't want to be beaten, make it have a big play down the field. And Texas Tech, their route adjust system is what they have here. They're trying to just take what the defense gives them.
And they finally get a first down. Their first down of the first quarter, and it comes at 7:19. Let's take a look at the Cowboys defense presented by Phillips.
Yeah, up front you got Hugo Chinas on one end. He's done a nice job rushing for the Cowboys. And Ori Lemon, we've talked about him and his play inside. And excellent job, I think, for him so far in this campaign. And they're young in the secondary, but McGee and Brown, they're kind of pulling themselves together. It's always a growing concern.
Texas Tech on the season is 1-2 in Big 12 play, 3-2 overall. And wide open in the flat, and Potts missed him again. That's Baron Batch. So 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Potts is usually very efficient with the football, just kind of uncharacteristically throws the ball away. And this tempo is not anything like the tempo they displayed against Baylor last weekend in the Cotton Bowl. I was there and I saw how fast and how efficient they were. They're not hitting on their marks today. Credit to Oklahoma State how they're playing on defensively as well.
Potts is 4 for 9, only 20 yards. On 3rd down, looking over the middle and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, looking for Zozulak again, and he couldn't hit him, and so Texas Tech once again forced to punt it away.
Excellent break on the football by Markel Martin, the strong safety. He almost picked that football, kind of baited Taylor Potts into throwing that football in the middle of the field. I thought he was open, but he really was not, because he had 2 guys around him from the Cowboys.
The kick is away. The freshman over to get it. And again, they angle it to the sideline. 3rd member of our crew. You saw her earlier. Aaron Jackson, what do you have for us?
Hey, Dan, well, this is kind of a homecoming of sorts for members of the Oklahoma State staff who used to be in Lubbock. Offensive coordinator Dana Holgerson for the Cowboys. He was actually a coach here for 7 years, between 2000 and 2007. A couple of years of that, he was offensive coordinator. Also, Johnny Barr. He is now the director of recruiting for Oklahoma State, but he was a safeties coach for Texas Tech back in 2003. The real advantage, Holgerson says, to coming home is not so much just that, he gets to come back and see people. He gets to come back and prepare to coach against kids that he helped recruit. So knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, that's really helped him over on the Cowboys sideline.
Weeden looking underneath, and our first flag of the afternoon. Thank you, Aaron. And there are a lot of ties across the Big 12 with a number of coaching staffs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And when you have some insight into the abilities.
15-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Hands to the face there, a penalty. So when you have insight to the players and their talents and their abilities, as Holgerson does with a lot of the players here for Texas Tech, I think that he may have an advantage understanding what their capabilities are. But it's just a matter of how you execute that day. So that's what both these teams are up against. When we talked to Dana about coming home or coming back here to this area, not so much home, because he's moved on to Houston and now on to Oklahoma State. But we thought about maybe catch up some friends, and he said, no way. This is all business. There's some holding out there.
No flag on the play, and looked to be maybe a loss of 1 on the play if they did not get back to the original line of scrimmage. That was Colby Whitlock, the senior out of Noble, Oklahoma, in on the stop. He wears number 93.
Levi Adcock out there, the right tackle, really had a pretty good grip and was turning the defensive lineman that he was in contact with. So I think the Cowboys may have gotten away with one there.
2nd and long. First down marker is at the 46-yard line. And again, they'll keep it on the ground. And a late flag on the play. That was Kendall Hunter again with the carry, but again, a flag on the play. We'll get the call from our referee, Dan Romeo.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
A good safe play call there for the Cowboys. And you see the hold on the left side there.
It's Jonathan Rush whistled for the infraction. So again, Oklahoma State on this drive, Gary, really shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they're going the wrong way.
Right.
Minus 25, 30 yards almost.
This will be 2nd down and 35. Weeden plenty of time to the sideline, incomplete. You're talking about all the staffs and how guys are interchangeable, it seems like, inside the Big 12. Well, Mike Gundy, he's worked for every coach since he's been there, and now he is the head coach. So you talk about a guy that understands the program and the ins and outs. He's done it all.
He's played for him. He's played for coach under Bob Simmons, coached under Les Miles, and now the head coach. And so he understands the whole system and the tradition. And he's a guy that Oklahoma State has grown from within. And he has definitely bought into the program. He's got great success with his recruiting and things that are going on for him. We'll talk more about that later today.
On 3rd and 35, they'll just keep it on the ground and try to get themselves a little breathing room away from the end zone. And this will be the first time that Texas Tech, outside the first drive for Oklahoma State, gets a stop on defense. So a 3-yard pickup.
And now a chance to get some field position, too, because the penalties against Oklahoma State created that negative field position now. So punting out of his end zone.
Detron Lewis, a senior out of College Station, Texas, back to receive. For the Red Raiders, steps up near the 40-yard line. Wants to return it. This is one tackler, steps it up, and picks up a few extra yards after the catch, and Texas Tech will have good field position here, near midfield.
Texas Tech, they need to get in some rhythm here offensively. I think they need to utilize their backs. And one of the guys I want to get the ball to is Eric Stevens, number 24, out of the backfield. I think I've been able to see him in the ball game. We've got Baron Bax, a senior, out there. They split time, but Eric Stevens is really an explosive player when he gets in space and not easy to tackle in the open field.
It's worth repeating, Oklahoma State has not won here in Lubbock since 1944, and Texas Tech, the nation's 9th best home record since 2003. They've gone 41-7 in that time. This is not an easy play to put up points, or easy place to play and put up points and win. Cornelius Douglas, the sophomore out of Lawton, Oklahoma, picks up his first catch of the afternoon.
Yeah, matchup zone coverage by Oklahoma State, doing a pretty good job and coming up making a nice tackle.
The 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. This will be 2nd and 6 for the Red Raiders, first time in Oklahoma State territory in the afternoon. They pick up the blitz. Potts has a man, incomplete, overshot him. Wide open was Leong, who has been quiet so far today, considered one of the best receivers inside the Big 12. So 3rd and 6 now for Texas Tech.
Well, this offense has really changed a little bit here. Neil Brown, the new offensive coordinator for Texas Tech. It's not the same style of offense that they've seen for Texas Tech in years gone by under Mike Leach. They've emphasized the run more. We took a look at 2009 and 2010 like we did the Cowboys, and I'll show you those numbers here in just a minute.
3rd down and 6. Potts, they read it perfectly, trying to swing it to the right side. And reading that was Shane Jarka, the senior out of Sugarland, Texas.
And here's the numbers I was talking about. You know, they have really, last year, 72% throwing the football through the first 5 games of last year. This year, only 63%. You see the emphasis there towards trying to run the football. I think that's more of a style that Coach Tuberville would like to see with his offense and be more productive that way.
Texas Tech kicking it away. Fair catch called for. Well, he gets away from it. The ball is chasing a few of the folks in orange. And eventually it's down inside the 20.
You know, one thing that's unique in this stadium is, you know, we got 60,000+ people here. It's a very quiet crowd because there's not a lot of things to be cheering about right now for Texas Tech. They have not, you know, moved the ball offensively like they normally do, and Oklahoma State has done a pretty good job of doing what they needed to do to get some yardage and obviously the 2 scores.
Just about a month ago, they had over 60,000 and the largest crowd they've ever had against Texas. And it was 24-14 that they lost that ball game. Their wins this year have come against SMU, at New Mexico, and against Baylor just a weekend ago. Weeden to throw off his back foot, finds the open man with room. Look at him go. That's Blackmon. And eventually knocked out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Justin Blackmon, the sophomore, now with 49 catches. And partner, he's averaging 150 yards per game receiving. How about that?
Well on that way again here in this ball game. Again, bring him down the drag route, and Bron Bird just can't catch him. A linebacker who's got pretty good speed himself. Justin Blackmon just getting around the edge and making a big play.
1st and 10 with the ball on the 45. Weeden, plenty of time, and they'll pick up another 1st down. The catch made by Josh Cooper, and on the coverage was Jarvis Phillips, who leads the club in interceptions with 4.
Well, Brandon Weeden, we talked about him and his ability and his arm. Watch his mechanics here. 1, 2, 3, and watch his ball come out, folks, and it's zip, boom. It's right there on the sideline. That is a very, very powerful arm that Brandon Weeden possesses.
How about the protection that Weeden has had as well? They go on the ground this time. They've had a lot of success doing that. And once again, it's the freshman Joseph Randle has a touchdown today, along with Kendall Hunter picking up another 1st down for the Cowboys.
You let him get a little yardage, then you bring Hunter back in here and let him do some damage. It's kind of like what Texas Tech would do with Baron Batch and Eric Stevens. So good compliment there between those two, Randle and Hunter.
This has been a dominating 1st quarter by the Cowboys with their 7th 1st down, only 1 for Texas Tech. They used to be able to get 3 or 4 in their sleep, it seemed like. Weeden, plenty of time again. He'll dump it underneath.
Just a simple take what's given to you by the defense. The defense covered everything up there was vertical and down the field, and the underneath route was available to Brandon Weeden. And this is the maturity that he is now showing in this offense. Don't try to press it, and then again you see the offensive line, who is really improving this year. And as he comes across, and Josh, who didn't know if he's going to get to play a lot today.
2nd and about 3. Handed off. Still on his feet. And close to the 1st down is Kendall Hunter. You talk about a 2nd effort. How about the job here from the senior?
This powerful run inside there, and he's a strong back too. He's one of those guys that's got enough strength to break tackles. And you see him there in the middle of the pile with those defensive linemen breaking away and making a good run.
Tommy Tuberville was telling us earlier in the week that one of the things he was frustrated with was a lack of tackling by his defense. Something they worked on this week. Weeden to throw. Again has a man inside the 5. We call his name all afternoon, Justin Blackmon. And folks, if you haven't seen this guy, you're in for a treat. Last year, he had just 20 catches, but they had All-Americans at wide receiver, and a guy named Des Bryant was pretty good. He's now with the Cowboys playing on Sundays. So Blackmon gets a chance to showcase his talents as the primary go-to guy this year. On the ground, and they may have lost a yard on the play.
That defensive front can do some good things when they get together, and that's up front there. You got Whitlock obviously in the middle of that pile, because I think you'd like to be able to spread this out and get that defense to spread out, but not inside the 5-yard line. They're going to gang up on that run inside.
2nd and goal for the Cowboys. To stay on the ground, the 3rd touchdown of this 1st quarter, and this one goes to Jeremy Smith, the freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They've had Randle, they've had Hunter, and now Jeremy Smith gets into the fun for Oklahoma State.
Now the offensive line, watch the left side here. They're just going to cave down the defensive front of Texas Tech, and then Jeremy Smith punches into the end zone. Good job of Oklahoma State marching the ball all the way down the field.
With 1:21 to go in the 1st quarter of play, Oklahoma State leads it 21-0 over Texas Tech. We were talking before the game, Gary. We thought that Mike Gundy's club would make this tough. We questioned their schedule a little bit coming in here. Did they deserve that ranking? Well, they come on the road and put up 21 real quickly here at Texas Tech.
Done a good job of that. He's really complimentary of his coaching staff, and obviously we talked to him about that, and really about him not having offensive coordinator duties.
Well, it's gone really smooth. It's been different for me. During the game, I'm obviously have my own train of thought on what plays I would call, but Dana's doing a great job with it, and the offensive staff has really prepared our team in the last 5 games, where I think they're in position to have a lot of success.
Gary brings up a great point. How tough do you think that is for him to have those play calling duties away from him after he's done it for so long.
He's been a quarterback. He's been a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. It's not easy to pull the reins back, but he knows the big picture. He needs to do that.
Aaron, what do you have for us down on the sideline?
Well, just a note on OSU's offense. You know, they returned only 4 starters, only 1 offensive lineman from last year, and they're still averaging 52.6 points per game. That's second in the country only to Oregon. They've scored at least 38 in every game this season, and Dana Holgorsen saying, you know what, for my first year here doing this, I think we're A-OK through 5 games so far, guys.
Well, total 10 starters return. That's it on both sides of the football. They've also, as we mentioned, changed the offense to the spread. They have 16 first-time starters. So you mix that all in, and yet Oklahoma State, they're undefeated.
Yeah, they've done a good job. And, you know, one of the guys who's not here today, who's injured from Oklahoma State, is Hubert Anium. And they expected him to be a big play receiver. He was injured early this season, so really hasn't had a chance to emerge. And now you see Justin Blackmon just jump out on the stage. And, hey, it's been a pretty good evolution here, I think, for Oklahoma State offensively.
Not to look ahead, but they've got Nebraska at home. Oklahoma State does next weekend. They could be undefeated going up against the Cornhuskers. And Texas Tech putting it on the ground and going nowhere. And right now, offensively, Gary, they just can't get anything going.
Well, Bill Young has done a pretty good job here, I think, of getting his guys ready to play against this style of offense. And they understand the pace of the game that they need to play to. And they'll rotate defensive linemen in and out of there. But most of the secondary players are going to have to stay in the ball game. And they ask a lot of Ori Lemon to cover all over the field.
Texas Tech has now had 5 rushes. They're -2 on the day. Potts to throw, steps up, delivers a strike, and they pick up just their second first down of the first quarter. You know, to put it in perspective again, Texas Tech, Gary, has 18 plays for 22 yards. Oklahoma State 24 plays for 215.
I guess Big Brother may be winning.
Wow. Under 40 seconds to go. To stay on the ground, this is Eric Stevens, his 48th carry of the year, averaging 4 yards per carry, and their second leading rusher this year.
It's just interesting to see how Texas Tech continues to work your new offensive coordinator, Neil Brown, who's on the field and trying to get the calls into Taylor Potts, and the entire team is looking to the sideline to see if they want to do it. Looks like they may be letting the quarter expire.
And that's what they will do as some of the players start to walk to the sideline in the first quarter. A nightmare at home for Texas Tech. So that's the end of the first quarter with Oklahoma State putting up 21 here in Lubbock. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Time to take a look at our Jack in the Box game summary.
Well, obviously, pretty good performance here by Oklahoma State in this football game. 3 touchdowns and 4 possessions. The offense has just been one-sided. Texas Tech not able to do anything. Most importantly, on third down, 0 for 5. They came into this ball game, Texas Tech did, 25th in the country, getting 47% completions on third down. Not very good today.
Second down and 7. The Texas Tech, Potts underneath, connects. They'll be short of the first down. That's Cornelius Douglas with his second reception of the afternoon. Gary, they've only averaged 1.9 yards a play. That's it on offense. For Texas Tech, we're talking about here.
Yeah, they're used to getting up to 8 to 9 yards per play, you know, in a normal ball game for them. But credit Oklahoma State's defense. They're doing a nice job here against this Tech offense.
Third down and 2. It's the Wildcat formation that time. Lewis with the carry. And did he get the first down?
Looks like the spot up there at the top of the field may be giving him the spot. He's waving the first down. So Texas Tech does get the first down with Detron Lewis, who receives the direct snap.
More and more teams are doing that, getting the playmaker out of the shotgun and let him try to get a yard or two.
It just gives you an extra blocker in the backfield. That's really all the premise of it is.
Underneath, catch made. Hard hit that time. And there he is, Ori Lemon, the senior out of Houston, Texas. It's now 47 tackles. He leads their team in tackles. He's got a couple of fumble recoveries and a sack as well. Great defensive player.
Yeah, good to see him play. Injured last year, not able to play, so good opportunity for come back and play this season. He's done a nice job for the Cowboys.
Second down and 5. Potts will hand it off. And again, they'll be close to the first down. And Right now, Texas Tech on offense, and you realize why the crowd is quiet, trying to help out the offense. But this crowd of nearly 60,000 in shock right now. Oklahoma State up by 21.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around with the way this thing has gone over the last decade or so here in Lubbock. You know, you've had a lot big scoring offense, but just not happening today.
Looking end zone, incomplete, and no flag on the play. Intended receiver was Lau Leong, and that's one of the things too that in the first quarter you look at. Number 19 there has been shut down for the most part.
Did a good job here. Look on the inside. Andrew McGee doing a good job of coverage on Leong. Doesn't have a chance to go up for the football, either one of them. Ball overthrown, but nice coverage.
2nd and 10. They put it on the ground. Short pickup that time. And that's Baron Batch, the senior. Averaging over 5 yards of carry. Batch this season, 3rd down and 4.
3-man front here by Oklahoma State. And Taylor Potts looking to see about possibly checking his play. 3rd and 2.5, almost 3 yards.
And they want to run. 1st down, Texas Tech. Fans want a flag on the play, and so does Batch, and no flag.
Batch does a nice job of cutting outside and getting the 1st down. Ugo Chinasa could not get off the block and just had one hand that he could possibly grab Batch on. You see him miss there, and then the contact, and they drive him back.
The initial hit by Johnny Thomas of Oklahoma State. And now a whistle, which holds up Texas Tech. And now we get back to play. 1st and 10 with the ball on the 31. This has been the best drive of the afternoon for the Red Raiders. Nearly intercepted, then caught. Eric Ward, Johnny on the spot, checked at Leong with the catch, and that's his 1st of the afternoon.
Right through the hands of Justin Jett. He should have had an interception, and luckily for Texas Tech, they continue to keep the drive alive with the reception and more yardage.
And that's Eric Stevens, as they wasted no time with the handoff. And all of a sudden, Texas Tech with a little rhythm.
Here's this catch. We went back here. You take a look at it. It goes right through the hands of the linebacker, Justin Jett. Makes a nice break on the football. Boom, right up in the air of Leong.
1st and goal just inside the 10. Potts dumps it off. Catch is made. And did he get in? No indication. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds. And they'll mark it, it looks like, at the 2-yard line. That was Batch out of the backfield.
This is more of the tempo that I saw last week against Baylor in the Cotton Bowl with Texas Tech offensively. Get up the line of scrimmage, get your offense going very quickly, get the ball out to the open receiver. In this case, it's Batch. And yes, he did step out just at the top of the 2-yard line. Good mark by the official.
2nd and goal from the 2. Potts changing the play. They hand it off. They stay on the ground. Texas Tech, did they get in? No indication again. They'll mark it just shy of the goal line. That was Eric Stevens with the carry.
Well, it sure looked like he got in the end zone, but that was Baron Batch who went through there and fell into the end zone. I thought at first, when I first saw it from the near sideline here, that he had gotten in. We'll take a look. Batch is on the right side. He goes through into the end zone. He's the one that falls through, but good job by the Cowboys holding out the man with the ball.
Now they get in. Touchdown, Texas Tech. With the touchdown, his 4th this season, and finally the Red Raiders get on the board.
A little more beef there with Batch. You know, you got Stevens, who's only about $190, but Baron Batch, 210-pounder, a little more powerful than Stevens, and banging that ball into the end zone for the first score of the day for Texas Tech. Just barely gets it over the end zone. He sticks it out there. He may be down, though, before it goes in the end zone.
Well, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think he's down. His knees are down. But let's say stop the play here by the officials. It's going to count as a score.
And Williams with the extra point. And Texas Tech with the drive. Results in 6. The extra point is good. College football Saturday. Red Raiders at home. They trail 21-7. (21-7). Number 18, Oklahoma State with a lead. 11:04 to go. College football Saturday in our first half here from Lubbock. And the scoring drive presented by Phillips Television. batched the 1-yard run, but 15 plays, 80 yards, and it took 5 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yeah, pretty methodical drive, but very good job there for Texas Tech to get points on the board. And they need to continue this momentum here and get the crowd back into this ball game.
Taylor Potts, 10 of 19 for 63 yards. On the other side for the Cowboys, Brandon Weeden, 7 of 10, 122. And finally, Texas Tech will kick it away. Taken at the goal line. Good coverage. Special teams. That tackle, Jonathan Bryden, backup linebacker for Texas Tech, and down and see grabbing his knee or his leg is Justin Gilbert, the freshman.
One of their cornerbacks that they like to play, and they use him on kickoff returns as well to make some explosive plays. He's got speed, just a freshman, so good low hit here on the leg, and let's see what happened. And
you know, Gary, he's averaging, when he gets a chance, 25 yards a kickoff return, so he does give them that element of good field position on those kickoff returns.
And he started at corner today for the Cowboys, and one guy they certainly doesn't want to, don't want to miss any time with him, because he's one of the cover guys that they definitely rely on.
Looked like his left knee was caught as he went down, or at least the leg was, and the knee may have been extended a little bit. So Tommy Tuberville for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, new head coach. He takes over from Mike Leach, and I know there's a lot of fans that are watching nationwide wondering what has happened to Mike Leach. Well, he's in a perfect spot today, isn't he?
Well, he had this whole thing here. He used to like Pirates, and they there's an old joke. They said he made him walk the plank from here. Well, that's what it is. But guess where he's calling a ball game today? East Carolina.
The Pirates.
Yes, fitting.
Yes, it is. And he's living in South Florida, we understand.
Yeah, and I'm sure he wants to get back into coaching. He's talked about that. He's in the, doing some broadcast work this year, and he's enjoying that. But everything that I've heard is that he definitely wants to get back in the game.
How about for Tommy Tuberville and running a spread offense, Gary, and normally a guy that would always rely on great defense and just pound the football?
Well, he's a mentality and got a way of doing things that this is different. He realizes that Texas Tech has got a way of doing things offensively that the fans like, that it's a fun for the game, and you need to do it in this conference to be competitive. And so he's bending his style a bit of play to what needs to happen here.
Weeden had an open man, and it was underthrown just a bit. That's Josh Cooper, the intended receiver. And in on the coverage, Cody Davis, the sophomore from Stevensville, Texas, their second leading tackler. And Weeden so far is 7 for 11, 122.
Yeah, if he'd have just laid that ball out there deeper for Cooper, he'd have had a chance to play on the football. The ball was just underthrown.
Second and 10. Weeden, nice touch on the throw. Tracy Moore again. A first down and then some, brought down near that 40-yard line. Very good touch on that pass.
Good job there throwing it over the top, and good soft touch. Just drops it in over the linebacker. Watch the toss right over the top there. Bingo. Good job by Moore coming across, grabbing that football, and that's well done.
Brandon Weeden has not been in the fun today as far as throwing a touchdown pass. He has had 2 in every game so far this year. He's got 18 this season. That's Tracy Moore, and his numbers this season with 11 catches. He's been a favorite target today. They'll put it on the ground. Hunter. Maybe a pickup of a yard or 2. Donald Langley, the 6'2", 300-pound junior with the stop.
One of the things, if you don't put pressure on Brandon Weeden, then he's just going to be successful out there. And this Tech defense, they have not done a great job this year putting pressure. They do have 15 sacks on the season, and overall they've been able to put a little bit of pressure, but nothing today really to disrupt Weeden, what he's been able to do throwing the football.
Second down and 10. Weeden dumps it underneath to Kendall Hunter, and the defense swarming for Texas Tech. The first and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. Along with Gary Reasons, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Aaron B. Jackson down on the sideline. College football Saturday from Lubbock.
3rd down and long here now for Oklahoma State.
3rd down and 13. Sack. He's brought down, threw it from his knee, so they'll count it as a sack for Texas Tech.
Yeah, they called him down. Good job there, putting some pressure that time. Sam Fehoko, the linebacker, comes down as a rush lineman here in this case and pushes just back into the pile there. Just goes right over the back. The young freshman running back, Joseph Randle, right into Brandon Weeden.
Quinn Sharp will kick it away. And it takes a Texas Tech bounce. They'll let it bounce near the 40. And we'll step aside. You're watching College Football Saturday. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. From Lubbock. And it's 21-7.
Well, Dan, we want to let everyone know that McDonald's is looking for the fan of the season, just like these guys right behind me who are very into their team. Pretty rowdy bunch. You can send your video to fanoftheseason.com for your chance to win $10,000 towards a fan cave and other great prizes. Hit the website and enter today.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Taylor Potts now for Texas Tech is 10 of 19 for 63 yards. 6 different receivers have caught the football for Texas Tech. They'll put it on the ground, and this is Eric Stevens with a nice pickup for the Red Raiders.
Good hole over the right side that time. Just a little inside draw here to Eric Stevens. We talked about him earlier. They want to get the ball in his hands, either running it or catching it out of the backfield, and they feel like he can take the distance anytime he can break through.
You just see Texas Tech has really picked up the pace of their offense, and that's a big hit over the middle. Also a flag on the play. Swindle was the intended receiver.
Johnny Thomas, the junior.
Play first down.
Got a holding call on Texas Tech, so it's going to bring it back, but Johnny Thomas did a good job of timing that and disrupting that throw.
Deverick Gallington whistled for the hold. 8:15 to go in our first half of play. And this will be 1st and 20 now for Texas Tech. Good cut. Still on his feet. Near midfield. And finally brought down as somebody lost their hat down there, but a good pickup by Eric Stevens.
Well, you see what they like in him. He's got that, the escapability outside in space. It makes people make it difficult to tackle him, get any contact on him. Eric Stevens got the quicks.
Johnny Thomas, the junior, out of Texas City, Texas, with the stop. They'll keep it on the ground. Up the middle they go, near a 1st down. Baron Batch closing in on 2,000 yards in his career. He came in just 39 shy of that mark.
Coach Tuberville talked to us and he said, hey, we want our offensive line to be more physical, come downhill. They've kind of done a little more emphasis on the run game, and this is obviously what he's talking about. Help that passing game by running the football.
Ball on the 38. They pick up the 1st down. Back to Potts. Has a man open, and he was wide open. Looking for Lewis. Threw it behind him, and what should have been a sure 1st down for Texas Tech. 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions.
And that's the ball that Taylor Potts needs to get out in front of Detron Lewis to allow him to have an easy catch and run afterwards, and that's when he got away from the Red Raiders.
First charge timeout, Texas Tech.
Detron Lewis has had a heck of a career. 10th all time on the school's reception list. But he threw it behind him.
Yeah, I think that
we're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. With 7:20 to go. 1st half, College Football Saturday.
In the Academy Game Break, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, I'm Rick Renner. The Texas Longhorns surprising Nebraska in Lincoln. Garrett Gilbert rushes for his 2nd TD of the game. He's got 8 carries, 57 yards. Texas up 17-3. Back out to you guys.
All right, thank you. 21-7 here. College Football Saturday. All season long. Champion a part of our broadcast. Champion, it's how you play.
Yeah, Longhorns are not dead.
Not at all. Not yet.
Doing well up in Lincoln, 17-3.
A huge game for Bo Pelini, and how about his young quarterback that he has?
Taylor Martinez, special talent.
Now, we were wondering if they took the timeout because Taylor Potts took a hit and picked that up right when we were going to break.
Yeah, he was bent over back there, and that's really why I think they did take the timeout to kind of check him out. It seems like he's okay to get back in, and we really didn't have a look at it for him to see any contact, but looked like he was upset. Wasn't upset, but he just didn't feel well.
And Stephen Sheffield, the backup, a senior out of Austin, Texas, was throwing on the sideline. He got loose, but Taylor Potts says he's all right and still in there.
Now 4th down here, 4th down and 4. So, good momentum, continuation opportunity for Texas Tech for them to go for it here, but also another good opportunity for the Cowboy defense to make a stand.
Texas Tech has gone for it on 4th down 10 times this year. They're 5 for 10. Tough catch. Close to a first down. It looks like he got it. Barron Batch. And again, Potts with a low throw, but Batch able to make the catch and picks up a very important first down.
Well, that's the mark of a good back, a guy who can make you miss out in space, gets that first guy, makes him miss, and then gets through a couple of guys and gets that first down.
They keep it on the ground. Oh, what a tackle coming up and making the play. That's as good as it gets. It's Markel Martin, the junior out of Wichita Falls, Texas, and his 23rd tackle on the year.
Yeah, one of the bigger hitters on the Cowboy defense. Watching the right side of your screen, just going to upend him here. Stevens going to try to jump over him, but nope. Markel's got him by the ankles.
Potts, little play action, has a man inside the 10. Touchdown, Texas Tech. Cornelius Douglas. "29 yards. The touchdown reception. Cornelius Douglas, and just like that, the Red Raiders are right back in this game.
Yeah, good job that time of route running in the middle of the field, and did not have any deep help in the middle of the field in the 2 deep zone coverage, and the Red Raiders exploited it.
So after Oklahoma State jumped out to a 21-0 lead, Texas Tech has come back with 14 of their own, as that is just inside the right upright. As we head to break, you're watching College Football Saturday. Taylor Potts, the play action, finds his man, finds the end zone. We got a ball game, 21-14. Nine plays and 59 yards. Texas Tech putting up now 14 points, and really a tale of 2 different quarters.
Yeah, everything was going for Oklahoma State early in this football game. The early 21-point lead and all the offensive production. It's kind of flipped now. Texas Tech doing a good job of moving the football over the last few possessions and putting 14 points up there as well.
We just saw a few moments ago during the timeout, the commercial break, the medical staff attending to Taylor Potts. They still are. That's a live look now, and he says he's all right after connecting with the 29-yard touchdown pass.
Looking at his jaw area, perhaps, and I don't know if he had some contact there, but we'll keep an eye on that today.
The kick is away and taken from the goal line. Good coverage. Tommy Tuberville, we asked him before the game about Taylor Potts, as we see a flag on the play late. Dan Romeo, our referee.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 37, half the distance to the goal, first down.
But Gary, you asked Coach Tuberville just about Potts and how tough he is.
So one thing I like about Taylor Potts is he's consistent. You can't rattle him, and he was acceptable to coaching. Neil Brown came in, and we changed his footwork in the pocket. He would not step up in the pocket. And nowadays you get all these speed rushers from the outside, and you don't step up, you're going to get sacked.
He stepped up and delivered a touchdown for Texas Tech to pull within 7. And with the carry, it's Joseph Randle. Now, Oklahoma State has scored 3 times on the ground, one by Randle, one by Kendall Hunter, and the other by Jeremy Smith, and we hope that Potts is going to be okay.
Yeah, and that little coaching point that Coach Tuberville talked about of stepping up into the pocket. You get those wide speed ends to go around you. You can step up. You buy yourself more time for those throws down the field.
1st and 10 now, Oklahoma State. Weeden with time, dumps it underneath. His favorite target is Blackmon. Be interesting to see the yards after the catch this season for Blackmon, because with his speed, he does get that separation, Gary.
Yeah, and he's got these underneath routes that, they're playing some zone coverage, and he just runs by guys. So he does. He's running it, get a full head of steam going, and he makes some good positive yardage. I think he got the first down there, so nice throw and catch.
Just over 5 minutes to go in our first half of play from Lubbock, Texas. College football Saturday. The trick play here. They set up a screen to the right side with blockers. Watch out. There he goes. Joseph Randle. Randle still on his feet and brought down near midfield.
Well-designed play, little razzle-dazzle, kind of fake the end around, and Brandon Weeden does a nice job of setting up the screenplay here, and you can see he's going to come over to the left side. Got the blockers out front, ball's down there, and good job of running after the grab, get some yardage.
Little draw play this time. They'll keep it on the ground and a pickup of 2. 4.5 to go, first half of play.
When you look at Brandon Weeden, you just he's confident back there. He's just back there running the show. He understands what's going on and communicating well with Dana Holgerson on the sideline, and really doing a nice job of leading this team. As he's grown now, no one really knew just what he was going to be like in this new system and this new offense this year. And one of the things that Coach Gundy talked about is he really wasn't a very good practice player. He certainly plays on game day.
No doubt. On the ground again. The stop for Texas Tech. Baholko was in there, and so was Bard. Next week, it's college football Saturday in a triple header. First, Iowa State looks to make a statement against Texas. Then Pac-10 action. Arizona State with Cal. Under the lights, Texas A&M and KU. Action kicks off at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. College football Saturday. Third down. Weeden underneath. They get the first down. And tripped up at the 40. It's Josh Cooper, the junior out of Mustang, Oklahoma.
This is actually a screen across behind the line of scrimmage here, and you're going to see number 24, Kendall Hunter, come across. Watch his block right there. That's what set it up. That was a screen across down the field. A little bit unique, good, well set up throughout the offense.
Under 3.5 to go. On the ground, Kendall Hunter. And a late flag on the play from the far sideline.
See the violation at the start, so we'll have to.
It's the 10th carry for Kendall Hunter, 10 carries for 54 yards.
Delay of game, sideline interference. Texas Tech, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, well, these officials, they definitely want their space to operate on the sideline, and so they've got a coach's area that the coaches can be in and players behind that. And sometimes those things just kind of, everybody gets up towards that sideline, and the officials can't operate. And that's definitely the reason they're going to call that penalty. And it really hurt Texas Tech to give them free 5 yards.
Wow. First and 10 now. And the ball is on the 30-yard line. You noticed Bill Snyder in the game on Thursday against Kansas.
Exactly the same thing. There was a player coming off the field late, and there was a coach there on a fumble recovery that was being run back, and a coach was in the area there where the officials need to operate, and they could have thrown a flag on him, and Coach Snyder undressed his coach on the sideline for that error. So those are things that coaches have to be aware of. You can't get caught up in the ball game. You need to know where you're at on the field.
We had plenty of time. There was nobody back there from Texas Tech, and Gary, you mentioned it earlier. Texas Tech has got to find a way to get some type of pressure on Weeden. He's just had way too much time.
Yeah, they had that one sack there earlier in the ball game and trying to put some pressure in his face. But if Brandon Weeden can stand back there, and I think that you might be able to throw something like this down. He got a nice easy toss and catch there. We could make that one right.
Well, you're way too confident in my abilities. I'm better up here. I guarantee you that. On the ground. And they'll pick up the first down with Kendall Hunter. That may have been a tackle that saves a touchdown, too.
Well, when you talk about, quarterback standing back there having time to throw the football, that's one of the things that Mike Gundy said. His offensive line, they are definitely improving from week to week to week. Young guys, 4 new starters up there. And they're still young enough that they're going to be able to play together. That's good news for the Cowboys.
Tackle by Colby Whitlock up front, the senior that goes at 300 pounds out of Noble, Oklahoma. Here's a look at what's coming up on McDonald's halftime report. Rick Renner and Pat Jones in the studio. Texas at number 4, Nebraska in Big 12 South standings. All coming up on the McDonald's halftime report. Pat Jones knows a thing or two about the Cowboys.
No doubt about that.
Former head coach, Oklahoma State. Second down here. Short gain. And Oklahoma State now, as Joseph Randle picks up 3 on the play, is able to take some time off the clock in this drive, and it brings up a big third down. This will be 3rd and 9. Weeden again, too much time. Into the flat, the good coverage. And Jarvis Phillips, the freshman, is going to be a good one, made the stop.
Good job of coming up, making a sure tackle there and keeping things in front of you, not allowing a big play down the field. You know, pretty good protection up front there for Brandon Weeden to survey the field and toss it down. And again, a good tackle.
So bring up 4th and 10, and let's see what Mike Gundy wants to do on this call.
I think he's going to let the clock burn, and then he's going to bring Dan Bailey out there, Mr. Perfect this year.
Aaron was talking about special teams being a factor in this ball game, and Dan Bailey is 11 for 11. The senior out of Oklahoma, as long as 52, and he has hit 2 over 50 yards this season.
So you get a timeout. Oklahoma State.
And I believe this will be a 35-yarder when they head back out on 4th down.
You know, we're going to go to the studio. We're going to have Pat Jones who's going to jump in there. He's my colleague. I'm in the studio most weekends. And, you know, Mike Gundy has had some success in his first 5 years at Oklahoma State. And, you know, one of the things I wanted to show you is just how successful he is. Now, Pat Jones is the all-time winningest coach there in the first 5 years. That's 75% in his first 5 seasons. Mike Gundy's close to that, 57%. But now for the first 68 ball games here, he's kind of kept picking himself up. So Mike Gundy's kind of having his way with things there and doing a pretty good job. And one of the things Coach Jones, you know, knows about is some of the obstacles that may come up with as far as Coach Gundy's going to have as far as how do you recruit, how do you maintain that excellence. And that's the challenge when you get your program headed in the right direction.
Well, the first time ever in school history, they've been to 4 bowl games in a row. That's the first time ever. So give Mike Gundy some credit in that regard.
Yeah, they definitely had some success and doing a good job of recruiting and overall with the program.
35-yard attempt for Dan Bailey. Kick is up and it is good. He is perfect on the year. Automatic 12 for 12. Well, how big is that? I mean, you talk about defense and offense and key players, but when you have a guy that can kick you a win like Dan Bailey, it could be a big factor in a long season. And Bailey now 12 for 12.
We talked to Coach Gundy about Dan Bailey and having him and the importance of him as a kicker. And so, you know, we'll have a listen to Coach Gundy about Dan Bailey.
Well, it's another guy we talk about. The game's important to him. He works extremely hard year-round. He's got a great temperament, and he's performed very well. We're proud of what he's done. He's made some long field goals for us, and it makes you feel good when you know you get down in that position on the field that he can go out there and make it.
Yeah, 4 field goals last week. The Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week in that win over Louisiana Lafayette. He's had a couple of kicks over 50 yards this year, a game winner against Texas A&M a couple weeks back. It's been a sensational year for that kicker.
Gary, you have to say that right now, if you're Oklahoma State, you feel very good with what's happened here. You put up 24 in the first half, and their schedule, historically, these next 3 games, including today, have been very, very tough. They haven't won here since 1944. Then they have Nebraska, and then they've got Kansas State. And Kansas State, recent history, has been very tough for them. Return out near the 35-yard line for Eric Stevens.
I don't think anybody is going to take Kansas State lightly when they play in Manhattan this year with Bill Snyder back there and doing a nice job with that program. They play well at home.
So 12 seconds to go. A lead of 10 for Oklahoma State. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Texas Tech answered with a pair of touchdowns. Now the field goal is made at 24-14.
12 seconds here. Can they get about 35 yards is what they probably need to even have attempt a field goal here. Maybe just run it out.
Put it on the ground. Short the first down, and the first half will come to a close. An impressive first half put together by Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy's club on the road, 24 first half points. Tommy Tuberville standing by with our own Aaron Jackson.
Thank you very much, guys. Now, Coach, offensively it was a slow start, but you really started to put something together there in the second quarter. Just offensively, how do you feel right now going into halftime?
Well, we're doing a better job offensive line blocking. We can't protect the quarterback on the pass. We got to get the running game going. And then, of course, we got to stop their run on their side of the ball. We're just losing contain. Their outside guys are blocking us pretty well. We got to do a lot better job on the outside run.
Defensively, you have certainly slowed down this Oklahoma State team that put up 21 points really fast. What do you want to see from them in the second half?
Well, we got to have a turnover. I mean, you're not going to stop them. You got to have some help. You got to have a turnover. We're not doing anything in terms of hitting them hard enough to get turnovers, but hopefully it'll balance out.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. All right now, 24-14, Oklahoma State leading Texas Tech. We will join Rick Runner and Pat Jones for the McDonald's halftime show coming up next when we return on Big 12 College Football.
College football Saturday from Lubbock, Texas, 24-14. Number 18, Oklahoma State leading the host Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Gary Reason, Dan McLaughlin back with you, and we saw in many ways a tale of different halves. And if you want to break that down like that, a first quarter, second quarter, totally different.
Yeah, Oklahoma State played very well early. They got on the quick points on the board, 21 points, 298 yards in the first half for Oklahoma State. Pretty good production. But Texas Tech found a way to get a little rhythm going, and they answered back with 14 of their own.
Well, let's take a look at three performers that stepped up very well for Oklahoma State. It's our Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff leaders.
Yeah, it's the guys we talked about at the top of the show. Quarterback Brandon Weeden, very efficient there. You see his numbers on the day. Just throwing the ball down the field. And Kendall Hunter done a nice job running the football. They've used others running the ball as well. So they've been very productive offensively. And Justin Blackmon just continues to catch the football and make yards after the catch. So these guys, definitely the triplets in full force here in Lubbock.
Third member of our crew is Erin. She's downstairs and had a chance to catch up with Mike Gundy. Erin.
Well, I asked Mike Gundy about those quick points that you talked about and asked him offensively what changed. He said, we just got a little bit too relaxed, got into that little ebb and flow of the game, and we need to keep up the intensity. Defensively, no real changes that they need to make. They just need to make sure that they wrap Texas Tech up and don't let the Red Raiders get too much back into this ball game. I also asked about the status of cornerback Justin Gilbert, who is suffering that ankle injury. He was back for a defensive series towards the end of the first half. They expect him to be good to go here in the second half. Just a little bit sore. He was stretching it out there right before the second half started, guys.
Well, Texas Tech kicked it away, and Taylor Potts, we understand, may not come back in the second half as they had x-rays on his arm. We didn't understand if it was the shoulder, the elbow, forearm, whatever the case may be, but it was x-rays. We saw him hurt at the end of the first half. He stayed in the game through a touchdown pass, and we'll have to wait and see.
Correct. Correction. They'll take the 5-yard penalty and re-kick.
So a penalty on the play and a re-kick upcoming. Texas Tech will kick it off to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, if you're just joining us, jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Then Texas Tech came back with 14 points of their own. And right before the end of the first half, Oklahoma State with a field goal, and that made it a 10-point lead for the Cowboys.
Yeah, just looking on the sideline here, it looks like Taylor Potts is not on the field, but Stephen Sheffield is definitely warming up there like he's intending to go in the ball game. So not sure yet if Taylor Potts is going to be able to make it back in the second half here against Oklahoma State.
Gary, that could be huge as Stephen Sheffield, even though he does have experience as a senior, 6'4", 200-pounder out of Austin, Texas. He's only 2 for 8 this year.
Well, don't worry about that, Dan. I've seen him play and come into the ball game and really spark this offense. And he's got a lot of fan base here. They nickname him Sticks because he's not very heavy. He's a lean guy that can go out there and run. He's got exceptional mobility, which Taylor Potts does not have. A different dynamic, and he throws the ball well too. So interesting to see who they're going to put back in the ball game.
So the Red Raiders kick it away, and again another flag. And some of these fans are upset. They were quiet in that first half. We've got close to 60,000 here today at Jones AT&T Stadium.
Out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball be placed at the 45-yard line.
First down.
Little things like that, special teams, and now great field position for Oklahoma State to start the second half.
Yeah, that's a penalty from where you actually kick off is how they measure it. So, tremendous field position at 45-yard line. Didn't even touch the football yet. Goes out of bounds twice.
Oklahoma State trying to go to 6-0 for only the 4th time in school history. Not many folks expected this, as Brandon Weeden has really stepped up in his junior season. He's now 27 years of age. Been talked about an awful lot. Played in the Yankees system as he started his professional career in baseball. And that's Josh Cooper, close to a first down. A look at the first half possessions, and early on, a lot of success for the Cowboys.
Yeah, pretty efficient with the football. 3 touchdowns there in those first 5 possessions. So that's good production. Obviously, the field goal by Bailey to finish out the half. So Oklahoma State had a nice first half, putting 24 points on the board.
Second down and 2 with the ball on the 47. They want to run it, and they're shy of that first down marker. So third down upcoming. Oklahoma State was 3 for 7 on third down conversions in the first half.
Coach Tuberville was talking about running on the outside going into halftime and trying to figure out how to slow down those runs around the edge and making tackles in space. That's what you do against Oklahoma State, is they run around the edge.
They're going to throw the football wide open in the flat. They'll pick up the first down and then some. It's Terrence Bullitt with the stop. And again, Josh Cooper, that's his second touch of this second half. Picks up the first down.
Josh Cooper coming off a concussion, didn't know if he was going to play in this football game. He was cleared, and so he came on the trip and obviously making his presence felt here early in the third quarter with a couple of grabs, and gets a nice first down for the Cowboys.
First and 10 with the ball on the 36 for Oklahoma State. They racked up over 300 yards of total offense in the first half. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver, his favorite target was Justin Blackmon.
A little bit high, and not really a chance for Blackmon to go up, and unless he had a ladder. I think he had a ladder and stand down there at the 5-yard line.
Gary, I'm sure you didn't expect this, but Oklahoma State averaging nearly 53 points per game coming into this ball game today.
Yeah, 52.6, I think, is what it is, and it's a huge number. And they're a very potent offense in what they do, and they do it in a hurry too. So good things are happening with that offense, and I think that's where Mike Gundy was looking for, to bring in Dana Holgorsen to get that type of offensive explosion, so that you can help your team succeed on the field.
Let's check in again with Aaron with an update on Mr. Potts.
Yeah, guys, I was just standing next to Taylor Potts as he was warming up and getting ready to go back in the game. They did x-ray his jaw during halftime. He just took that shot there in the first half, but they said, you know what, he's not going to come out of this game unless it's absolutely necessary. He says he's fine to go, so Potts expecting to be a big part of the second half here for the Red Raiders.
Well, he's shaking his head. He likes that hit. That's DJ Johnson. What a hit. Wow.
You got to be careful. It could be a launch penalty too in college football. Now you have the ability to, the officials do, if you're launching towards the head, it's a good hit. I think it's probably a good legal hit, but it was very close.
This would be a 48-yard field goal attempt, so instead they'll go for it on fourth down. Stepping up underneath, and it's intercepted. Intercepted for Texas Tech. That's Bront Bird with the interception and brings it back out to the 25. Well, Tommy Tuberville said it going into halftime. We need turnovers. They get one.
Yeah, they certainly did get one. And Bront Bird, who's done a nice job for Texas Tech defensively all year long, and he got deep in the middle zone, and so he got underneath that throw by Brandon Weeden, and this ball probably he should not have thrown. Try to stick it. Here's Bront Bird. We'll watch him on the hash mark there, just getting depth right underneath Justin Blackmon, trying to come in there to get that ball. So good job of deep zone drop there by Bront Bird, and he picks the ball off.
And this is Taylor Potts, so back out there. And Potts keeping it himself. I'm not sure that's the play that you want with a guy that's maybe dealing with a broken jaw.
Oh, well, maybe they're just trying to figure out, okay, is Taylor Potts, how tough is he? That's not a play that you want to call if a quarterback's been dinged a little bit, especially with a chin area there, or the jaw area.
By the way, that was the first turnover that has been on the positive side for Texas Tech in 11 and a half quarters. How about that? They throw it underneath on second down. The catch made by Detron Lewis, the senior out of College Station, Texas, their second leading receiver on the team.
On tempo here, trying to go really fast against this Oklahoma State defense.
It's 32 on the ground. Oh, this would be very close. That's Batch with the carry. They're just going to move the chains. They pick up the first down. You're thinking about time of possession. It was over 16 minutes in the first half for Oklahoma State and barely over 13 for Texas Tech in the first half of play. Stevens, the carry.
Both teams definitely trying to make an attempt to run the football in this football game and trying to get a little bit of balance. Oklahoma State used to be a team that was very, very balanced with their production, rushing yardage, passing yardage, and how you got there. And they're very different now. Obviously, we showed that with the earlier graphic in the ball game. They throw the ball more, and Texas Tech, getting away from the pass from what they've done over the last several years, trying to run the ball a little bit more as well.
Big hole left side. First down by Stevens. And a defender of Oklahoma State is down. That'll stop the clock with 11:36 to go in our third quarter of play. Big hole here to the left side.
Good job by the outside line of the line. The left tackle doing a good job of opening up a hole there. And you can see the contact on who's down on the field. So.
And that's number 95, Chris Donaldson, who's 6'1", a 300-pounder from South Carolina.
Near the sideline, so he's pursuing the play and probably got caught up in the wash there.
Tonight, the NLCS begins with a showdown between two Cy Young Award winners. Tim Lincecum, coming off a 14 strikeout performance, takes to the mound against Roy Halladay, coming off a no-hitter in the Phillies. One of the greatest NLCS pitching matchups in recent history. Will live up to the billing. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the NLCS begins with Game 1 tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and you can see it only on Fox in high definition.
Boy, you're a MLB guy and a National League guy. What do you think about that series?
Well, Phillies.
You think Philly?
Phillies. And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I like the Phillies. They've been there. They've got Roy Halladay. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's one of those that you would say is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty good. No hitter in postseason play. That's not too bad. But so is Tim Lincecum. 14 strikeouts. Finally got his mechanics, which are crazy anyway. You got those in order, and they're going to be tough to beat. There's no doubt.
Good to see Chris Donaldson being helped off the field here.
First and 10 line is brought to you by Phillips Televisions. And Donaldson very slow to the sideline for Oklahoma State. First and 10 with the ball on the 46 for Texas Tech. Taylor Potts showing some gut staying in this game, not knowing about his jaw. And he'll step up with good protection. Now brought down, finally brought down. And that's the second sack of the day. This defense of Oklahoma State, Jamie Blackmon, the junior from Texas, his third sack of the year.
Good job at the top of the screen here, watching the right side. Just going to defeat the tackle and get around him. So there's a little uppercut there, rip underneath, and gets around the quarterback.
They've had success on the ground. And this time it's Eric Stevens. Going back to that sack, though, that's one where an offensive lineman is frustrated where Potts doesn't get rid of the ball.
Well, you need to throw the ball away, and I think that the tackle, though, could have pushed him on past a little bit further. Once you get that arm underneath an offensive tackle, there's not a lot the tackle can do.
3rd and 7 for the Red Raiders. Their first possession here of the second half. On the ground.
Ball.
And the ball is loose. Who's got it? It's Oklahoma State. Blackmon was in there again. And Batch coughed it up.
Kind of a strange contact here. The player's going to be hitting right on Baron Batch underneath him. He's going to come right at you, folks. Take a look at his helmet right on the football. See that? Was that Johnny Thomas coming down and making that hit? Yes, it was. Johnny Thomas went right through the football, and keep your head up a little bit and put it right on the ball, and I guess that's what Johnny Thomas did. And Blackmon gets the fumble recovery, so a pretty good series for him with a sack and fumble.
Now Weeden, second time out there in this second half. He's 15 for 22, 199. He has thrown an interception just moments ago. A short pickup for Oklahoma State.
Well, that's one of those things where Coach Tuberville's looking at, okay, we get the turnover, but now we don't capitalize. We just cough it up with a turnover of our own, so that's not being as productive as I know his team would like to be, and he would like his team to be.
They picked up 2 on the carry by Jeremy Smith. And Weeden wants to throw to the sideline, and it's caught to the 20-10 touchdown. How good was that? Justin Blackmon.
Cody Davis had an angle on the sideline, should have made a play on the football, but just missed it. But I tell you, this is great hand and body control and eye control by Justin Blackmon on the sideline to grab this football.
It's shades of Michael Crabtree against Texas, the way that he caught that and avoided any kind of contact.
Watch this here. Just Cody Davis comes over the top, doesn't touch the football, and had a chance to contact the receiver out of bounds and get Justin Blackmon out. But boy, he just misjudged that and cost him big time, because Blackmon caught the football, nice grab, and took it the distance.
That's his 13th catch for a touchdown this year. The extra point is good. Justin Blackmon, only a sophomore from Oklahoma. He has arrived, folks, here in 2010. Tiptoes the sideline, off to the races. The 4th touchdown for Oklahoma State. Very reasons. Aaron B. Jackson on the sideline. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma State has opened up a 31-14 lead. And the Phillips television scoring drive, 2 plays, 64 yards. Gary, only 33 seconds.
Yeah, that's how you turn another turnover into points. That's what Oklahoma State did. And Texas Tech, no benefit from their interception.
And this crowd, as you and I were talking during halftime, has been very quiet here today, which has been a bit surprising, with close to 60,000 in attendance this afternoon. Red Raiders will take a knee and have it 1st and 10 with the ball on the 20.
Here's the interception by Bront Bird, who sets Texas Tech up, and they continue to move the football, but then the fumble by Batch right there, and then the quick touchdown here to Justin Blackmon from Brandon Weeden. So in a very, very short period of time, the fortunes turned.
You know, one thing that Tommy Tuberville did tell us, he's been very pleased with his defensive backfield, and with that interception from the linebacker, that's now 9 interceptions this year, which matches all of last season. There's the numbers on Potts that you just saw. So Texas Tech will have it with the ball on their own 20. Deflected up front. And looked to be either Jones was in there, along with Nicholas, the sophomore.
Watch on the right, left side of your screen. Going to get a hand up there right in the middle of the inside defensive tackle.
Gary, I'm curious what you think about this. I mean, Tommy Tuberville has been there before. He's coached his entire life, but he is following a guy that was extremely successful here at Texas Tech in a short gain on the run, and also a guy that was extremely popular. Now, how tough do you think that has been for him, this transition here?
Well, it's been tough. It's been a little bit difficult, but you know what? He's the most positive guy. He's a very structured coach. He's a guy that understands how to win football games. You know, he didn't win a lot of ball games at Auburn by mistake there, so there's a lot of success there. So he understands what it's going to take, and you know what? He's winning the community over. I think he is. I think he's got the fan base. They understand that, hey, nothing that he's done reflects anything poorly on Mike Leach. You know, the fans, some of them are disappointed that he's gone, but hey, the change has been made, and now, you know, I think most of them are starting to turn over to support Coach Tuberville as he, you know, puts his stamp on this program and trying to do some things a little bit differently, and then trying to, you know, improve this program overall.
It's Shane Jarka, the senior from Sugar Land, Texas. 6'3", 295-pounder up front.
Yeah, he's been dinged a little bit as well this season. Just got him back this week and trying to get some quality reps from him, a quality defensive tackle inside.
You see that number 46 and you wonder, wait a minute. Did he come here as maybe a tight end or fullback? And now you look up and he's 300 pounds his senior year. You just don't see those guys wearing the numbers in the 40s usually that are interior
most
linemen.
Inside defensive tackles, you don't have that.
Just makes you wonder a little bit. Big third down here. 3rd down and 5 with the ball on the 25 for Texas Tech. Potts with time. And delivers, but a little low on that throw. The intended receiver was Torres, and Texas Tech will have to punt it away.
Well, he needed to catch that football. He was beyond the 1st down marker and with a chance to catch the ball. Potts throws it down low inside, and this is just not a good effort by Torres to catch that football.
LaCour, senior for Texas Tech, Jonathan LaCour, will punt it away.
The sun's right in his eyes. It may be difficult to catch that football.
What a beautiful kick that was, and the ball is loose. And Oklahoma State picks it up. Partner, you were exactly right. First of all, you had the perfect kick, but then looking up, there's not a cloud in the sky and the sun beating down on you.
My first clue was the big cloud. I mean, the big shadows on the field.
Going back and couldn't make the catch. And Oklahoma State gets a lucky break to recover.
Welcome back, where Oklahoma State is still on top of Texas Tech, and we want to let you know about a very special week this week for the Oklahoma State Cowboys and for head coach Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy was honored with an American flag by a soldier, Sergeant Michael Heimdall, who had just spent time in Iraq. It was a flag that had actually flown in a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter over in a mission in Baghdad. The reason? Because Oklahoma State has been such an inspiration to some of the soldiers over there. They gather around a TV over there in Iraq and they cheer on Oklahoma State, adopting their philosophy of never accepting defeat, never say die. That's what those soldiers had to say about Oklahoma State, and they just wanted to thank the Cowboys for their efforts, guys.
Aaron, good story, thanks. And that's Blackmon again. His 7th catch that takes him over 150 yards. He does have a touchdown today. And again, Gary, he's only a sophomore.
He's got a lot more to be there.
Wow.
Talking to Coach Gundy, you know, he says he's happy to have him. He's a guy who's emerging. You know, he's still growing, though. Still has room to improve. And I tell you, he's having a great day today as well.
Even his body type does have a look of like a Michael Crabtree or even a Des Bryant.
Yeah, and I actually asked Coach Gundy about, you know, how to compare him to Rashawn Woods, you know, and who is a former Cowboy, great receiver, first-round draft pick in the NFL. I see a lot of similarities with him, and asked Coach Gundy about that.
And here's a handoff, and it'll be very close to a first down.
Yeah, and here's what Coach Gundy said about Justin Blackmon and Rashawn Woods.
Well, with Rashawn Woods and Justin Blackmon, the similarities are their ability to box out a defender and use their hands. They have very strong hands and very almost like going up for a rebound in basketball. And both of them take pride in their route running abilities, and they want to be in there when the game's on the line. And Blackmon is a guy that we can count on in crucial moments to throw the ball to, and you feel like he's got a chance to go out and make a play.
Makes a very good point, and you hear about it all the time, Gary, but guys that use their hands when they catch the football, you watch Blackmon today, I mean, everything's out in front, big hands, like it's no problem at all.
Yeah, and then Des Bryant goes down to the Cowboys and makes these one-handed grabs, just wows people, and that's just having the ability to catch that. And I think Blackman's a very similar receiver. He's got that strong hands, his ability to pull the ball in, not using his body. Yeah, that's a remarkable, great receiver.
There's 2nd down and 10. Underneath it goes. And a pickup of 5. And Gary, I'm assuming that you had the same receipt when you went out to dinner for your rookie dinner as Des Bryant.
Kind of, sort of. It was a little different, though. It wasn't mine. Carl Banks was a first-round draft pick on our team, same year with me with the Giants, and Carl picked up the tab, you know, but that was a pretty hefty sum, $54K for Mr. Des Bryant down in Dallas.
3rd down and 5 with the ball near the 30. They set up a middle screen. They've got blockers. He's something else. It's Joseph Randle. He's only a freshman. And then you look at Blackmon. He's only a sophomore. They've got Weeden, only a junior, coming back next year. Again, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for Oklahoma State with a lot of transition on their roster, moving to a spread offense, but it looks like they just haven't missed a beat.
Well, they have players on the outside that touch the football, and they have a lot of them. They've got a lot of guys that are special that they can put the ball in their hands, and they make people miss in the open field. So, you know, they're people that are capable of making big plays, and that's what you want in offense. And, you know, the offensive line gives the quarterback just enough time to throw the football, gets it out quick. It's a decision-making offense that you react right off the defense as a defensive read. So very easy, you know, once a quarterback gets confident in this system, he understands where to go with the football right away. And Brandon Weeden seems to be growing into this more and more every day. And every time I see him play, he plays better.
This will be a 2nd down after the pickup of 2 for Oklahoma State. Now content to run a little clock and run the ball a little bit more. That'll stop play with 6:10 to go in our 3rd quarter. Let's check in with Aaron downstairs. Aaron.
Guys, something that's a little bit interesting. If you look at the sidelines, the benches for both teams, Texas Tech is very much in the shade right now. Oklahoma State in the very hot sun. I know you said it's in the lower 80s at the beginning of this game, but it feels a whole lot hotter than that right now on the field, especially since this is the hottest point of the day. So Oklahoma State having to work a little bit harder to stay cool right now. That might end up helping out Texas Tech in the long run.
Here's third down, and now a flag on the play. Blackmon picks up the first down, but we'll see what that flag is all about.
Aaron, I'm seeing the flags moving on the goalposts. Is there a little bit of a wind down there, a little breeze?
Number 75, 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
I just wanted to find out about the wind on the field, and if it's going to be a factor in this ballgame. It looks like there might be a pretty good breeze from south to north.
Yeah, you were talking about the wind on the field. It's really not all that breezy down here. When you get that stale heat, that's really hard to kind of find a cool spot. Of course, if you're Texas Tech, you got the shade working in your favor. Oklahoma State, they have some blowers blowing some misting air over on their sideline. But right now, that's pretty much the only moving air over on Oklahoma State's side of the field, guys.
So Oklahoma State now a long third down. Plenty of time over the middle. The catch is made. Be very close to a first down. The effort with the stretch there by Blackmon makes it probably a yard short, if that.
And just look at his awareness of where he is on the field, middle of the field, and he's stretching out. He knows he's got to get to a particular yard line to get that first down. Quick count here by the Cowboys to get that first.
But Texas Tech comes up with a stop and one of the biggest defensive plays of the afternoon. And who else? Brent Bird is there, and that's huge.
6'4", 245-pound linebacker just shoots the gap. Kind of guesses on the play and guessed right, and he went right through and got Hunter right in the backfield. So, you know, the quick play mentality backfired a little bit for Oklahoma State that time, and well done by Brent Bird.
And it puts Texas Tech in very good field position. That's one when it works, you say, hey, nice job, good play. That was great. You worked it up there very quickly. You got the first down. You keep the drive alive, take time off the clock. When it doesn't work, that's when the media or some of the others say, well, why'd you go for it there? You gave him good field position.
Yeah. Trying to make a play. Just do you think you can do it quick tempo, get up there and get a quick 1 yard, was all it was needed to be. And
Potts delivers a strike, and that's Torres with the first down.
Potts' arm, we said that he may have been x-raying his arm. We were wrong. He was x-raying his jaw going into halftime. So there's a Cowboy down on the field. Looks like Thomas.
Yeah, James Thomas, the junior out of Lamarck, Texas, is down. Right now, as they attend to Thomas, the Big 12 has 4 of the nation's 13 remaining undefeated teams. Missouri continues that trend. They beat Texas A&M today, as you saw in the halftime show. Nebraska is unbeaten. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, who we see right here, all trying to go to 6-0. No other league has more than 2 unbeaten squads, and the Big 12 has 4.
Yeah, that's right.
So taking a look now at the unbeatens this season, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Mizzou, all from the Big 12. Then Ohio State, #1 in the country, Michigan State, TCU. A lot of folks think that Oregon could win the national championship. Les Miles with his ties to Oklahoma State, unbeaten at LSU, Auburn, Utah, Nevada, and Boise State.
And Nebraska in a dogfight with Longhorns today.
Fans are booing because Texas Tech had it rolling. Then you saw the injury. Pile is moving here, and a pickup of 3. I don't know where you stand in this, Gary, but you know, I watch these teams like you do week in and week out from the Big 12, the SEC, the power conferences, if you will. And you just wonder if one of those teams, look at the quickness with the feet, and bring up a third down. If one of those teams had 1 loss, you know, should they play for the national title? My opinion would be yes. And I'm not taking anything away from Boise State or the TCUs of the world, but I mean, these guys, once they get into conference play, just the schedule just seems to be head and shoulders above anybody else.
Well, you're seeing the talent level, I think.
Did you agree with that?
About to broke through there for a good game. Gives Texas Tech first and 10 now around the 15-yard line. But back to your point, Dan, you know, I think there's a big group in college football that think that a 1-loss SEC or Big 12 team would probably be better than a 12-0 Boise State team.
Right. Short gain after the first down was picked up. Pickup of 2 on the play with 3:40 to go.
Yeah, the run game has been good for Texas Tech today. They popped some runs through there and kind of got some creases against the Cowboy defense and moving the chains.
Texas Tech with 148 yards on the ground today. Potts to throw. Has a man. Catch is made. The coverage very good. That's Jacoby Franks with a catch. The junior from Orange, Texas.
Texas Tech comes into the game 104th in the nation rushing the football. Not having great numbers. They're getting enough balance yardage that they want to be able to run the football.
3rd and 5. Potts in this offense, 60 plays for 260 yards on the other side. Their defense has given up 434 to Oklahoma State. Potts will throw. And short of the first down after the catch was made. Big time hit, Broderick Brown.
Brown does a nice job wrapping up Stevens, who catches the ball. Pretty good contact. And Stevens has signaled over to the sideline, hey, let me come out here for a play.
The fans are booing because Texas Tech will not go for it here. On 4th down and just shy of 2 yards. So they're going to get the points, they hope.
Well, field goal kicking has not been a great success for Texas Tech this year.
Williams with the kick. And it's good, so they'll get the 3 points. And it cuts the lead to 31-17. 2 minutes, 13 seconds to go. 3rd quarter from Lubbock. College football Saturday. We're just talking about TCU, one of the remaining teams that is unbeaten in the country. Thank you for the update. And right now it's 31-17, 2:13 to go. Are you surprised, Gary, that Tommy Tuberville decided to get the sure thing with the points with the field goal?
Well, he knows he's within 3 scores, and he knows he's going to have to put points on the board. That field goal put him within 2 scores now. So need a couple of touchdowns. I think it's a good call if you just want to get some positive momentum. Hey, if they had gone for it and the Cowboys had negated them, it would have been really bad.
This is taken out of their own end zone to the 15 and dropped there. Cole Bowling. Remember, we saw earlier Justin Gilbert looked to have a left leg injury, their top return man, so we haven't seen him since the midway point of the 2nd quarter.
And also a starting cornerback for him, so didn't notice if he was back out there or not playing on defense, but that's something we need to keep an eye on.
Gary, how much do you pull back at this point if you're Oklahoma State, where you're up by 2 touchdowns and you have been able to really accelerate your offense by throwing the football, but how much do you want to run now too?
Well, you're going to try to be a little more balanced. Probably will run the football, but take good possession throws, able to catch the football. And a penalty in the backfield here, maybe contact on the quarterback or holding. I'm not sure which, but trying to throw it out to Justin Blackmon.
Might be a hold on Jeremy
Personal
Smith.
Foul. Roughing the passer.
Okay.
Defense, number 98. Unnecessary contact above the shoulders.
It's Donald Langley.
And watching number 98, Donald Langley, is going to get back there to Brandon Weeden. The ball is away and in contact late. I think that's probably a pretty good call. You need to pull back as a defense player. You're asking about, what do you do tempo-wise? I know Dana Holgorsen. This is one thing that I think he really believes in about with what Mike Leach used to do. He's got the same mentality. Put the pedal down, keep it going. You never want to slow down with this offense because it's an offense that can be productive. As you see another big play here to Justin Blackmon, just by taking the reads that you have as a quarterback and able to deliver with the receivers, adjusting those routes to go to the open area and just go up tempo and up speed and don't ever slow down.
Let's check in with Aaron downstairs.
Guys, you've talked a lot today about the current group of OSU triplets. Let's talk about the original class of OSU triplets, really where that whole term was coined. That was back in 1988. Barry Sanders, his Heisman Trophy winning season. Joining him in that elite group was All-American receiver Hartley Dykes and the Big Eight's all-time leading passer Mike Gundy. So a couple of more groups have emerged this century. We can say that now that we're in the 2000s. Zach Robinson, Kendall Hunter, and Des Bryant making up the class in 08. But Weeden, Kendall Hunter, and Justin Blackmon, they sure are making a case that they belong in that elite group.
All right, Aaron, thanks. And
I think it's good to have triplets.
Oh, man.
Look at this.
Just inside the 30 and another big first down. This time it's Kendall Hunter Prior to her report, Gary, we saw that Blackmon had another catch. He's now 9 yards shy of 200 for the day. If you're scouting him and you play defense, you know what it's all about. How do you try to eliminate his touches? You know he's going to get the football, but if you're scouting right now Oklahoma State, what can you do defensively to stop him?
I think you got to have, if you've got a defensive shutdown corner that you can put on him to really contest him, that's actually his size and his ability to jump vertically. I think that's how you'd possibly best shut him down. Take him out at the line of scrimmage. That's what you'd have a chance to perhaps negate his playmaking opportunity.
31-17 here with 30 seconds to go in our third quarter of play. Looking end zone, there he is again. And we're going to say that he caught it but was out of bounds. So good job defensively on the play. That's DJ Johnson. That was one-on-one coverage here with Blackmon.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it wasn't press coverage. He was off about 6 yards at the line of scrimmage and goes up. The defender actually has a chance to catch the ball, and Justin Blackmon became the defender.
Yeah.
Good play by Johnson.
The fans just got a review of that, and I'm sure they're saying the same thing.
Well, he's out of bounds when he catches the football. He's on the white line when he has control. So,
well, Gary, did you see his left foot? And again,
it comes down to when he has control of it. I'm not sure that there's anything on the going to be on the replay that's going to be able to overturn this. It's got to be clear, concise evidence that would overturn it. But they will look at it. We'll take another look at it here and so go down the field and let Johnson go up and catch the football.
Certainly agree with that play because you've got that one-on-one coverage. Take a look here.
Yeah, here it is now. They're feeding this instant play here now. When does he have possession of it? Does he have it here? And where is he out of? When is he out of bounds? So what they're going to wind up doing is they're going to stitch plays. They'll stitch this play together with the other one to find out when he has contact, has the ball. I think his left hand was on the stripe, on the white stripe. His left hand was there before.
I'm going to say it's a catch.
Watch his left hand. You see his left hand go down to balance him, and he doesn't have contact, so he's out of bounds.
And that's my call. Texas Tech 1st and 10 from the 20. This is what makes television good, Gary. We can sit up here and argue. And we have to watch
it's compelling, isn't it?
Video.
I think his left hand is on the white line. This is a good look at it here from field level. This will give you the best look at it. Where is he at in catching the football? You know, I may be wrong. I think that may be a catch from that look.
Come on and join my side, Gary. It's okay. It'll feel good.
Hey,
come on.
I can flop over
here.
You give me a chance to get evidence, I can flop over. It's okay. Well, we're getting a lot of camera looks here. This is great, guys. Does he have control of it through the catch? Yes, he does.
Boy, regardless, what a play, huh?
This one may be turned over. The more I look at it here, it looks like that he's got control of it. He's down inbounds. And
see, now
Dan McLaughlin, you were right on it, brother.
See, this is the problem with review, because now I'm coming to your side of things. I'm watching this too many times and say, well, maybe, you know, maybe Gary's right here. But I'm still sticking with it. I think he made the catch.
Well, he definitely made the catch, but was he inbounds or out of bounds?
I should say.
Okay. Well, the replay booth has all the looks that we've seen because we feed everything to the replay booth, and they're able to see everything that we have. So they have the ability to judge that, and they can slow it down on their own. They've got their own equipment there that they can actually take a look at these replays at their own time. It's not once they feed it to the booth, they then have control over it to look at as fast as they want or as slow as they want. And then I said they can stitch plays together to give them the right look. If they're looking for a timing issue of when he had control of the ball as to when he's in bounds, I think they'll have to stitch some plays together to get the right look.
After further review, the ruling on the field is an interception and a touchdown.
Well, we talked ourselves into it, Dan. You were right on it, and I came to your side after I saw that field level look, and Tommy Tuberville got to be happy about that. And you got DJ Johnson making the interception right in front of Justin Blackmon as the ball was thrown up the end zone. That's the kind of throw you want to have up there high, so Blackmon can go up and get the football. A little bit short from Brandon Weeden, but turns out to be another turnover here for Texas Tech.
And that is their 10th interception this year, second of the afternoon. very well could be the final play here this third quarter. Some of the fans unhappy with that. That could turn out to be an absolutely huge play in this game, the interception.
Just take the ball back with a chance to get some momentum going into the fourth quarter.
So that's the end of the third quarter with Oklahoma State trying to remain unbeaten, and they have a lead of 31-17. You're watching Big 12 college football presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Oklahoma State leads it. Back to the fourth quarter right after this. Time to take a look at our Jack in the Box game summary.
Oklahoma State obviously a lot of offense today, and Justin Blackmon a huge day, 191 yards receiving in the score, and both teams very good in the red zone. 5 for 5 for Oklahoma State. Texas Tech with a couple of opportunities put on the board, points on the board as well.
So the fourth quarter is here. Second down and 10. Ball on the 20 for Texas Tech. Swing it to the outside, shy of the first down marker. A pickup of 7 on the play.
And one of the things I've noticed is Justin Gilbert, the starting cornerback for Oklahoma State, the freshman who was hurt on the kickoff return, is not back playing defense. So we're going to try to get a little report on what's going on with Justin and see what his availability might be for comeback in his ball game.
Third down and 3 for the Red Raiders. It's Gary Reasons. Aaron Jackson downstairs. I'm Dan McLaughlin. 3rd and 3 for the Red Raiders.
Jumped the ball well.
Trying to go through 2 defenders, and Detron Lewis was the intended receiver.
James Thomas had a chance to pick that ball right there, but a good job knocking it away. So it brings up 4th down. Watch Thomas, the linebacker, gets a little depth there to the outside and comes up and not able to get the ball into Lewis and to fit that ball in. So Oklahoma State's going to get the football back.
Oklahoma State has had 24 first downs today, only 14 for Texas Tech. The kick is away, it's short. But it does take a Texas Tech bounce and touched at the 37-yard line. Oklahoma State will take over, and they have the lead of 31-17. So Gary, offensively, what does the Cowboys offense want to do here up by 2 scores like this?
Well, they're just going to continue what they do, and they're going to spread the ball around. Brandon Weeden, be efficient with the football. Don't make mistakes. Turnovers are the biggest way that you can allow Texas Tech to get back into this football game, and they do have good field position, so I would expect them to try to take some shots here if at all possible.
Brandon Weeden, 22 of 32, 2 picks though, both coming in the second half at 328 yards, a touchdown, and the longest was that 62-yard bomb to Blackmon. 2 men in the backfield. Weeden, of course, working from the shotgun. Sets up a screen. They get a block. Blackmon, the stiff arm, stays on his feet across midfield and brought down near the 47.
Well, that's a play that's going to make him a little bit of money in a couple of years. The reason being is he shows his ability to use his strength and size to ward off a defender, and that's not something you teach. That's just an ability that you have, and just his stiff arm right there on the defender coming in. Bingo, boom. Not going to get a chance to get there. That's well done.
Well, he's impressive, and that takes him over 200 yards on the day. Big hole up the middle and another first down for the Cowboys. This time it was Joseph Randle who has a touchdown today. So a look at Justin Blackmon, what a day. 6th straight game with 100+ yards, and he goes over 200 today at 207.
Star Wars type numbers for receivers. That's impressive.
1st and 10 for the Cowboys.
Offsides here by Texas Tech, lined up in the neutral zone.
But no flag on the play. Weeden sets up a screen to the right side. Randle again gets a block. Poor tackling yet again by Texas Tech, and another first down for the Cowboys.
You wonder why this guy is a true freshman and he's playing? Joseph Randle is showing you that he's elusive, he's powerful, he's got speed, doing a good job. And he and Jeremy Smith back up Kendall Hunter, but hey, Randle has had a lot of workload today, and I like what I'm seeing from him.
Cowboys, an impressive drive, their first of this fourth quarter, and they're making it look easy. They stay on the ground. Flag on the play. The carry by Hunter. Short gain. And then on the stop was Fehoko. May have a face mask too. We'll get the official word from our referee, Dan Romeo.
Holding, offense number 86. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down. There is no foul for a face mask. Contact was across the shoulder area.
So that's Wilson Human.
Yeah, probably pulled the jersey there. He's looking at pretty good contact, but maybe he just got a little cloth that it was exposed to the official, because you saw it was a referee threw the flag in.
Under 13 minutes to play. Texas Tech desperately needs a stop here. On the ground again, Kendall Hunter, a short game.
What I'm seeing up front from the Oklahoma State offense is they're pushing this Tech defensive line around pretty well. They're making them get enough space and enough holes for these backs to pop through there, whether it's going to be Randle or Hunter. They're doing a good job giving them enough ability to, or enough space to where they can make some plays and get good yardage running the football.
Lewis Bird with the stop, his 8th tackle of the afternoon. Weeden steps up, deflected. And again looking for Blackmon, that was DJ Johnson with the deflection, the sophomore out of Austin, Texas.
You know, there's a guy that really haven't talked a lot about today, and that's Brian Duncan from Texas Tech, the defensive end, and has not been able to put any pressure on the quarterback today. And actually coming out of the ball game here on 3rd and long, I think he's maybe a little winded, but Brian Duncan, the guy who's got 6 sacks on the season, not being able to put pressure on Brandon Weeden today.
3rd and 15. He'll stay on the ground. Up the middle it goes. Going to be short of the first down, but that's Joseph Randle, and that puts them in very good field goal position to make this a 3-possession ball game, possibly with a make.
They're going to get those 3 points back that Texas Tech put up there on the board, so we would, as you said, Dan, get it to 3 scores again.
And Bailey has hit a field goal today. He's now 12 for 12 on the year.
He's got some cool looking shoes on too. Bright yellow. You can see, you can see those things, they glow in the dark.
This would be a 39-yard attempt. Checked at a 32-yarder, and it's good. So Bailey makes it a 3-possession game, and Texas Tech in trouble here at home. 34-17. Let's take a look at our Sprint Now recap. Busy day on both sides, and things got going early on for Oklahoma State. Jumped out to a 21-0 lead, but then Taylor Potts and the offense of Texas Tech would come back. They made it 21-14, but basically since that time, Oklahoma State was able to regroup. That was the big catch by Blackmon, 62 yards and a touchdown. He told the crowd to be quiet. Now some of them have started to head for the exits.
That's been a game that Oklahoma State has played very, very well, and while you see Texas Tech making some strides towards that way, they had some errors. They just could not continue to drive. So Oklahoma State gave them credit for the level and intensity that they displayed from the start of this ball game.
Barring a big comeback here from Texas Tech, and they'll field this inside their own 5. Oklahoma State will remain undefeated, and I don't think anybody expected that coming into the season with a change in offense and such a change in personnel in their roster.
Well, they've had an opportunity to play, some non-conference games, give them a chance to grow with their system into it, and I think they've done a good enough job to do that. Now, they haven't played lights out defensively. They've given up some big plays and some games like against Texas A&M, had to kick a winning field goal. So that was a kind of a pretty good test of character for Texas A&M. And then they came here in a place where they have not played well, and won ball games. And this team is different than those other teams that came in here, obviously. But they actually had come in here with a pretty good mindset of getting the job done. I think the defense really needs to be commended, because I think they played lights out, and Bill Young has put a pretty good game plan together for this team.
Detron Lewis with a catch, and another Cowboy defender is down. And that's Chris Donaldson. That's the second time we've seen him hurt in this ball game.
He's obviously got something lower leg or something going on there that's slowing him down a little bit, and maybe the shoulder or something. He's getting a little contact. And these fans, they think that this is contrived by the defense to slow down a Texas Tech offense that wants to go at a high speed and up-tempo pace, and I'm not sure that's the case, folks.
11:19 to play. Texas Tech needs to score. They need to do it in a hurry. Potts with plenty of protection, throws underneath. And a short pickup. Catch made.
I'm looking outside there, and I don't see number 4 for the Cowboy defense either back on the field. Justin Gilbert.
It was Eric Stevens with the catch. And Gilbert has been out since midway point of the second quarter. 1st and 10 line brought to you by Phillips TV. Stepping out of bounds, Batch.
Baron Batch, the ball carrier, tackled by number 42, Justin Hunter.
Well, we mentioned how the crowd hasn't been very loud here today, but they were taken out of the ball game early with 21 quick points put up by Oklahoma State. Up the middle it goes, and a first down for Texas Tech. Aaron, what do we know about Justin Gilbert?
Well, when I checked on him, it just seems that ankle injury that he sustained in the first half, that's just still bothering him a little bit. So Oklahoma State not going to plan on using him in any type of return situations, and really not going to use him if they don't need him. Right now, a 17-point lead for Oklahoma State here in the fourth quarter. So trying to preserve that ankle and make sure it doesn't get any worse in the weeks to come, guys.
Alexander Torres picks up the first down. On the coverage was Andrew McGee.
Probably a good idea there. A talented young freshman cornerback. Don't go ahead and put him out there in any adversity and get him injured even further.
Potts to throw over the middle. Behind the intended receiver and nearly picked off. Probably should have been by Andrew McGee.
Wow, how does McGee drop that football? Actually, I think he took a couple of steps, then dropped it, and does not have control of the football. There's McGee. Does he have it? Nope. Just kind of went right through the arms and falls to the turf. This is not a good throw by Taylor Potts.
So they stay on the ground, spinning, keeping his feet and his balance. Oh, what a run inside the 15. Eric Stevens.
Yeah, they think he may be their most explosive player, and they know they've got a good one to him because he's just a sophomore in this program, and so that's a good sign for good things to come as Baron Batch, as a senior, is going to lead the program. You still have Eric Stevens to count on.
Easy touchdown, but we may get offensive pass interference. Lau Leong, the senior who has been so quiet here today, their leading receiver.
And you called it. I think that's what that's going to be.
Pass interference, offense, number 19. 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
There's the hands extended, pushed off on the cornerback, and that's exactly what it is. Andrew McGee pushed him out of the way.
Leong only 3 catches today. That's a bit surprising, considered one of the top receivers in the Big 12. They'll set up a screen. Good job defensively in on that stop to recognize the screen. That was Chris Donaldson, who's back in the game. And Torres had the catch, but Donaldson hustling from that interior spot to make that play.
He's out. Good job getting back in there and showing some toughness.
Potts to the middle. It's caught. And the catch made by Cornelius Douglas, who had a touchdown back in the first half.
Yeah, Markel Martin had a decision to make there. He's a strong safety coming up to try to make the play and goes through the receiver trying to play on the football and could have exploded the receiver trying to catch it.
First and goal. Check that third down because there's third 25, and then they'll throw behind the receiver. The catch made by Eric Stevens. And depending on the mark, could be short of that first down marker.
About a half yard there, just short of it. So Tech going with an up-tempo quick style here, trying to run it inside, and it's maybe short as well.
Wow,
well defense by
short. That was
Cowboys.
Ben McRoy.
Justin Gent inside, and Corey Lemon, I think,
with the stop.
Corey Lemon and Gent combined for the tackle. Good job in the hole.
I'm not sure they got it. And Oklahoma State holds. Tommy Tuberville and Texas Tech will turn over on downs. Turn it over back to Oklahoma State.
Well, it just happened the same way to Oklahoma State earlier. You know, Tech stopped them on a quick fourth. So those are things you go with and you think they'll work.
Been a rough day here in Lubbock for Texas Tech, trailing 34-17 with 8:46 to play.
Awesome.
Bass Pro Shops brings us the catch of the game with 8:46 to go, and Oklahoma State leading by the score of 34-17, and it's a catch on an interception. And what a play it was as it was reviewed that DJ Johnson came up with the interception and our Bass Pro Shops catch of the game.
Yeah, well done for him.
They actually went into that timeout, reviewed the spot of the ball, and we noticed immediately it was the right call.
Yeah, they spotted the ball perfectly. I thought it was a good job of spotting the ball, and they confirmed it. So that's actually a goal line stand for Oklahoma State. Good job by the defense of stepping in the hole and stopping them. Coach Tuberville's offense went out there and went up tempo on fourth down, and real quick trying to expose the defense. Did not happen.
Texas Tech will be at Colorado the 23rd. Oklahoma State will play host to Nebraska next week. They have been very efficient, Gary, in the running game. It's Kendall Hunter again, and no reason to think that they would go away from that running game with the clock in their favor, 8.5 to play, and leading by the score of 34-17.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive line earlier, and I think they're continuing to do a decent job and really good job opening holes for the running back. So stay with it. And here's Weeden's numbers, 24-35. Those are pretty good, 356 yards. And one long touchdown to Justin Blackmon, who was actually a throw and a long run after the catch.
Oklahoma State has rushed 38 times for 189 yards today. Back on the ground, waiting for his block. He gets it. And again, Kendall Hunter very close to the first down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a first down, moving it just past the 14-yard line. They are moving the sticks. So methodically doing things with the run game here, being productive, getting out of your end zone area. It's a first down. That's what you like to see.
How about Oklahoma State? They have racked up 550 yards of total offense today.
They had a big week last week. So
wow.
They're kind of on their number. 562 is what they average coming in here.
Give their defense a little credit too. This is a Texas Tech team that seemed to be coming together offensively after their game against Baylor, which was their 15th win in a row over the Baylor Bears, and they racked up 635 yards of offense.
And now not as much up-tempo from Oklahoma State. They're using as much clock as possible. You know, this is kind of how you do things with a spread offense too. You still manage the game, you manage the clock. You know you're probably going to be running the football.
On the ground again. The key there is trying to stay in bounds. Make sure that clock continues to run.
It's probably the hardest hit on Justin Blackmon all day with Randle right there going out of bounds, because he was blocking on the outside and he got submarine. Boy, this was almost an injury, I thought, to when I first saw it, to Justin Blackmon on the sideline. Pretty tough hit.
3rd down and 3. Oklahoma State is 6 for 13 in 3rd down conversions this afternoon.
Blackmon, what a day he's had. Over 200 yards receiving. And here's the play on the outside. We may have to come back to it. We're going to run the play here real quick. So
Be short of the first down. That was Joseph Randle. Takes a clock, under 6 minutes to go.
I'll take a quick look here on the outside. There's Justin Blackmon blocking on the outside, and here's Randle. Bingo, boom. See what I'm talking about, hitting him as hard as he's been hit all day. And it brings up a 4th down now, long, a couple of 2.5 yards. And I'm sure we'll see the punt team out here for Oklahoma State.
It's when everybody in Stillwater falls off their couch. They see something like that and they're thinking, oh, goodness, don't let that guy get hurt.
I want to see that going on.
Continuing to let that clock run. It's under 5.5. Kick taken, 35. Little hesitation, finally tripped up, 37-yard line. Lewis with the return. And we'll step aside. College football Saturday rolls on from Lubbock, Texas. 34-17, Oklahoma State. Big 12 College Football Saturday is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, low price every day. And brought to you in part by McDonald's. Stop in and enjoy the McDouble on McDonald's dollar menu at participating locations. I'm loving it. By Philips Televisions. So amazing you won't be able to take your eyes off it. And by Wingstop. Want wings? Choose from 9 mouth-watering flavors at Wingstop, the wing experts. Texas Tech running out of time with 5:14 to play with the football and trailing 34-17. Potts with time. Wide open receiver, but he made a mistake, and Torres not getting out of bounds.
I should have jumped out of there, but you know, with college football, the clock should stop as they move the chains. And once you get the last scrimmage, you get up there, and that's what they're trying to do, be efficient.
Clock running, just over 5 to go. Potts has a man wide open, and again he throws behind Jacoby Franks, but if he leads him, that's 6. We've seen him do that a number of times.
There have been a couple of throws that definitely have been behind him. Seen one interception that way, so.
Getting a block is Lewis. Tackle will keep him in bounds, and that tackle made by Lemon.
You know, this offense really operates better, I think, as it goes up tempo. And you know, when they slow down, you know, they just don't. I don't think they run with the same efficiency because they're trying to utilize matchups to get them against the defense in a poorer position.
Wow. 10 receiver was Douglas.
Not a good throw. You know, that's what I'm seeing. Not a good throw by Taylor Potts, and got to give your receivers a chance to catch the football.
Potts is 26 of 41 for only 216. Underneath, it's tipped and then caught, and they're actually going to lose yardage on the play after the catch was made by Batch. In on the stop was Lemon again.
Yeah, taking away all the deep throws here, nothing really down the field into the end zone. So Taylor Potts trying to get underneath the Baron Batch to make a play, and there's Ori Lemon once again coming up making a nice play.
Darius Hart who got his paw on it and deflected it, and it brings down to 4th down and 10 now. Potts, the empty backfield, steps into the pocket, unloads underneath, and making something out of nothing. Look at that. They strip it after the catch had been made by Stevens, and it will be Oklahoma State football. McGee in there defensively for Oklahoma State.
That's what all these coaches on all the teams are doing it on defense. They're coaching their guys to in contact here. Go ahead and try to strip that ball. The first one hold him up. The next guy pull it out, and well done. That's the linebacker. James Thomas stripping that ball out.
Big 12 College Football Saturday. We step aside. 3:40 to play. 34-17 Oklahoma State. (34-17), 3:40 to go. Let's take a look at our Whataburger. What a play.
Yeah, it's a play here by Pretty good duo. You got Brandon Weeden throwing out to Justin Blackmon on the sideline. What a grab here. Poor line by the safety on that, but a great throw and run after the catch.
62 yards, that touchdown reception.
So what a play of the day.
So Oklahoma State will have it. 3:40 to go. 1st and 10 with the ball resting on their own 12.
He's going to try to milk as much clock, run the football, get some first downs here, and get on a nice plane, fly back to Stillwater with a W. Cowboys look good today.
You go to 6-0.
Yeah.
And 2-0 inside conference play. Texas Tech will drop this ball game, go to 3-3, and 1-3 in Big 12 play. So Oklahoma State will go to 6-0 for only the 4th time in school history. Clock continues to run.
First down.
Let's check in one more time with Aaron downstairs.
Well, guys, these Red Raider fans in the house today, they probably don't appreciate anything about the historic element of this game that they've witnessed, but this is pretty historic if you are a fan back in Stillwater, because it has been a long time since Oklahoma State has won in Lubbock, like since 1944. So you might ask, what was going on in 1944? Life was a little bit different then. FDR elected to his 4th term as president. Also, World War II was going on, so it makes sense that Army was the national champions. They went 9-0 that year. They repeated in 45. How did Oklahoma State build off of that win in Lubbock? And they went on to blank TCU in the Cotton Bowl 34-0. And a little bit more reference point for you. Gas only 15 cents a gallon. And guys, I filled up yesterday. I can attest to the fact that's not the case anymore.
I like that one too. 15 cents, huh? New home, just over $3,400.
Times have changed. Mike Gundy's got it rolling over there now. We're going to 6-0, and I tell you, that's a great number. 4th time for a team go to 6-0 in Oklahoma State.
Nebraska was on the verge of being upset with about 3 minutes to go in their game, and that's who Oklahoma State will have next, and they'll get them at home.
In Stillwater, correct.
Correct. And you have Missouri that is undefeated. They beat Texas A&M, so Mizzou and Oklahoma State both will be 6-0.
Yeah. Now, these teams have played, and, a lot of things have gone on over the years, and had some great ball games. So
just over a minute to go. Much of the crowd is left. We had close to 60,000 in our opening kickoff. Stay on the ground with the freshman. Tucks it up on 2nd down. And Randle picks up 5 on the play.
We're going to take a look here back at 2007, a flashback with Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy and talking to Mike Leach there. And who's this guy? Michael Crabtree making it happen for Texas Tech. And the Cowboys aren't done yet either. They're going to get their own. There's Des Bryant catching one in the end zone for the Cowboys. So this big game here. Kendall Hunter, this is his first 2008. His first year there as a Cowboy, running between the tackles, doing good things. So, after that ball game, 2007, it was a big press conference. Actually, it was kind of a remarkable one for people to remember. That was when Mike Gundy represented his player well, Bobby Reed, in a press conference, and the "I'm a man, I'm 40" reference came out. So, a little historical fact.
There you go. I like it.
He's got a lot of national attention for that, and this program has really elevated. And there's Boone Pickens' involvement, and the stadium renovation and all the things that are going on in Stillwater. It's a nice growth of the program. And now Coach Tuberville, he's done this now for 3 times to go in and turn around a program, so he's no stranger to that. So you got a couple of programs. One is really taking off right now, I think, with Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech with a new coach in there, probably a little bit away from that.
So our final today, 34-17. Oklahoma State remains undefeated, and they go to 6-0 for just the 4th time ever In school history, Texas Tech drops to overall at 500, 3-3, and 1-3 inside conference play. Tough day for Potts.
Yeah, he wasn't really sharp today. Had some poor throws on the day and missed some receivers. You know, just things weren't clicking for them. Credit Oklahoma State, they played well defensively. I think that Bill Young put a good defensive game plan together to take them out of their rhythm early in this ball game.
Well, coming up next, most of you will see more Big 12 football action. Iowa State takes on number 6 Oklahoma. Once again, our final score from Lubbock. Oklahoma State, from the onset, jumped out to a 21-0 lead. They hold on. They defeat Texas Tech, their first win since 1944 here in Lubbock, 34-17. For Gary Reasons, Aaron Jackson, and our entire College Football Saturday crew, I'm Dan McLaughlin saying so long from Lubbock, Texas.